How am I going to buy gold? It's Ron Paul. Nowadays, a lot of things are out of your control, but there is something you can do right now to diversify your retirement, and it doesn't cost you anything out of pocket. My friends at Birch Gold Group will help you convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, a time-tested hedge against inflation. Plus, in honor of America 250, Birch Gold is going to give you a special America 250 1-ounce silver round for every $10,000 you purchase by July 2nd. Text the word SHELTER to the number 989898 to get a free info kit from Birch Gold and claim eligibility for this limited time offer. Again, text the word SHELTER to 989898 today.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
The Democrat rising star lived with his mother and father 13 months ago. Brilliant, scumbags. Have any more ideas? And don't tell me about your elections. It's the Gilded Age, Tammany Hall. New York invented political corruption, election theft. New Jersey perfected it. Chirac made it an art form. Don't ever ask a liar what the outcome of an election was. They can't tell the truth. We'll discuss that and so much more after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Watch out for a couple of showers this afternoon with a high near 76. An early morning crash along 8094 in the south suburbs has left one person dead. According to Illinois State Police, the crash unfolded this morning near Torrance Avenue in Lansing around 5:30 a.m. The victim changing a tire along the roadway when they were struck and killed by a semi. The body of a young teen recovered from Lake Michigan's choppy waters this morning near Michigan City, Indiana. Indiana DNR officer Alex Neal.
It is not safe with the conditions that are out there, and it's just kind of monitoring it minute by minute to see if it will improve.
There have been 12 Lake Michigan drownings so far this year. President Trump says he's canceled a signing ceremony set for today related to a housing affordability bill. Deliberations begin today in the Southern California Palisades fire trial. Closing arguments wrapped up yesterday. The White Sox battling Cleveland this afternoon, while the Cubs have a double dip with the Mets. The news service of the AM 560 Advantage, where membership has its privileges, including early access to event tickets. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. Time now.
Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks finishing mixed and choppy trading, with chip stocks leading the retreat as investors rotate out of tech on concerns over debt-funded AI spending. Tumbling crude prices cushioning today's losses, with U.S. oil falling to its lowest level since late February, with West Texas Intermediate crude at around $70 a barrel. Airline stocks and cruise operators took off as oil slides. Tech was the worst performing sector, while industrials and consumer discretionary gained. The Magnificent Seven big cap tech stocks were mostly lower, and shares of Alphabet fell 0.5%. The Google parent will be replacing Verizon in the Dow 30 on Monday. The Dow winners: Home Depot, Caterpillar, and Sherwin-Williams. The Dow decliners: Goldman Sachs, Microsoft, and Chevron. The Dow up 182 points. The Nasdaq lower by 110. S&P 500 down 7. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Your home is a valuable asset, and you want to take care of your home. From roofs, siding, windows and doors, to furnaces, flooring, landscaping, and much more. Listen to your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio with your host, Roger Piper. Get answers from industry experts so you can make informed decisions about home improvement. Listen every Saturday at noon for Home Answers, right here on AM 560 The Answer. Sponsored in part by Level 10 Coatings and by American Beam and Steel.
Our founders believed that freedom wasn't just a word, it was a way of life. The freedom to move forward, the freedom to pursue what matters most, the freedom to live fully. But pain has a way of taking those freedoms away. That's why Relief Factor exists and why I endorse it. I've seen how many in this audience have regained their freedom and they're back to living life on their own terms. Relief Factor, it's 100% drug-free. It's a research-based supplement designed to help support a healthy inflammatory response, addressing pain at its source, not just covering it up. Over 1 million Americans have found relief and reclaimed parts of their life they thought were behind them. So this year, as we celebrate 250 years of freedom, ask yourself a simple question. Are you living with the freedom you deserve? Relief Factor. They give you the opportunity to live pain-free and to get back to the life you love. To commemorate our country's birth, they are offering a special patriotic price, just $17.76. So you can celebrate your freedom from pain. Your $17.76 3-week quick start is ready for you right now. ReliefFactor.com, 800-4-RELIEF. 800, the number 4-RELIEF.
It is that time of year again to save babies by providing ultrasounds with our friends at Preborn. You know how this goes. We've done it every single year at this time. All you have to do is pick up the phone and say, I want to provide a free ultrasound to a girl. Give her the chance to see the truth of what's happening in her body. Every $28 helps do that, saving one baby. $280 can do that, help save 10 babies. More does more. The phone number is 833-850-2229. 833-850-BABY. Join us saving babies with Preborn again this year. We're going to save hundreds of babies, one at a time, 2 or 5 or 10 at a time. That phone number again is 833-850-BABY. That's 833-850-2229. Or go online to 560theanswer.com/baby.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer. From the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On the Edens going out, you're in good shape. The Kennedy downtown to O'Hare, that is an hour and 5. Eisenhower inbound at Independence. There's a crash in the left lane, an hour and 25 going in. The outbound trip also an hour and 25 with an accident at Mannheim off to the shoulder. Stevenson out to Saba Lakeshore Drive to 355, hour and 20 with an accident on the on-ramp from First Avenue. Inbound around a crash reported at Canal Port 30 in 45 out. And USABA Lakeshore Drive solid either direction. Jane Addams and the Reagan both look good, though. Southbound 355 is heavy, and you are seeing delays both directions along I-80. This report is a service of Woodland Windows and Doors. Marvin Replacement Windows and Doors can bring your backyard right into your living space, making it seem brighter and more spacious. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your consultation. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low of 63. Thursday will bring partly sunny skies with a chance of a shower in the afternoon and a high of 81. Thursday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 60. Friday will have a mix of clouds and sun with a high of 74. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
How bad is the Democrat Party? And when I say bad, I don't mean the results of the area they govern. For 100 years, the areas that are under the control of the Democrat mafia have always been ghettos. But what's fascinating about this so-called results of the election in New York, people who have never been to New York, who have no intention of going, they're walking around staring at their navel. Oh, this is terrible. What are we going to do? The socialist one. Have you ever been to the ghetto? What did you think was going to happen? Do you look around and say, boy, these are some People of high character and standards of Americanism. Rugged individualists with heroin needles in their arm defecating on a curb. The decent people never lose. What you're watching are the Democrats wallow in their own failure as they tout a child, literally, who lived with his mother and father before he became mayor. Lived with his mother and father. Bragged about stealing his friend's Netflix sign-in credentials so he could steal Netflix. You're the frickin' mayor. That's about the standard of these ghetto princes, these ghetto kings who operate under ghettonomics. You see, there is no socialism. It's not socialism. It's fascism, financially. It's just stealing from the people that don't agree with you, which is why all of these rich people I'm about to play you, they don't put their money in the pool. Pay everybody's health care. Ro Khanna, insider traded $170 million in inside trading stock profits in 7 years. He didn't put $1 in the socialist pool of free food, free rent, and don't forget, health care for the heroin addicts, you filthy scumbags. This only works in these areas because people can't remember. There is only one section of our society that can openly lie to you.
It will actually reduce the deficit by $4 trillion over the long term. Reducing the waste and inefficiency in Medicare and Medicaid will pay for most of this plan. It will slow the growth of health care costs for our families, our businesses, and our government. There will be a...
Now, are you going to ask this lying, thieving moron, married to a really ugly woman, allegedly, are you going to ask him what was the result of the election? Hey, Barack! Sure, your name was Barry for the large part of your life before you hit Chicago after California and New York. Hey, Barry! Barack! Hey, you, with the terrible taste in women. You like big feet with corns on them. Hey, you, what was the election result? Who did we win? Are you out of your fracking mind? Do you not remember 2020? Do you not remember 2020? Every one of these areas, everyone governed by the mafia that cannot finance their own areas, which is why they pretend it's an ideology. Ooh, what's your ideology? Well, we call it socialism, but what it really is stealing other people's money so that they can wallow in the ghetto with the rest of us.
In the state of Georgia, there's no chain of custody documentation for 333,000 absentee ballots placed in drop boxes. That was out of a total of 600,000 absentee ballots placed in drop boxes on November 3rd, more than 6 months ago.
That's just Fulton County. Fulton, Democrat, Roach County. Just like Cook, embroiled in scandal. Just like all of New York during the Gilded Age. New York is the creator of political thievery and murder and mayhem and fraud. What was the philosophical financial argument for Boss Tweed to steal millions when millions was millions? Not like now, when millions is just slippage. And it's funny how nobody wants to talk about how many people have been arrested as of late just for election fraud in all, by the way, all Democrat areas.
New tonight, the town of Frisco City will now have a special election. It's to determine who will take the title of mayor and District 1 Town Council.
Squirrel, I got $5, says this guy's got panties on. You want to bet? Pride Month. He's proud. Panties. See, the male underwear has a little thing in there for your Schwansteiger. You don't need it.
Now, this decision was made by Monroe County Judge Jack Weaver.
And it comes after a lawsuit and the indictment of 3 Monroe County women on voter fraud charges in last August Frisco City election.
Women? Are you sure? They kind of were built like that WGN broad laying on the sidewalk.
Sir, what's your name? What's your name?
Debbie Brockman, I work for WGN.
Sir, what's your name? Debbie Brockman. Hey, Debbie, why you got a size 42 Levi's on with a 19-inch inseam?
Natalie Williamson has been digging into this, and Natalie, no one argued with the judge's decision.
Lennox and Cameron, both parties agreed with Judge Weaver's decision for a special election. Tonight, while it's unclear when...
The 3 women all work for the DNC. All 3! Fraudulent ballots. Fraud ballots.
Tonight, the Texas Attorney General's office formally announced the indictments and arrests of 6 people in Frio County for illegal vote harvesting and tampering with evidence. Friday, everyone except the county judge, Rochelle Camacho, turned themselves in and were given a
Rochelle Camacho, Pennsylvania Dutch. Oh, white as the driven snow. These white people stealing elections. You see what I mean, Squirrel? It's always to control the narrative. So, hey, Democrat, 2 things you never say. What do you think? And what was the outcome? Never ask a thief, a gypsy, or a Democrat. They can't tell the truth, which is why the big thing today, big, and exactly what I support Big Donnie for. It isn't the 47-year war with the Islamo-Nazis in their costumes. I hope he turns it all into glass. What I support him for is this country. And straighten it out. Use any lever you have to.
We have breaking news. President Trump says he won't sign the housing affordability bill until Congress passes his voter ID law. The House and Senate passed that housing bill in rare, overwhelmingly bipartisan votes. It aims to address the nation's...
Listen to this. Listen to this. Overwhelming bipartisan. So your first reaction should be, well, that's not good. Because when you think bipartisan, do you include Elizabeth Warren, who for 40 years, white as Chuck Connors and Ed Burke's ass and this sheet of paper, told people she was a engine. Jobs and loans, all white as the sheet of paper and Ed Burke's fat ass. So when she likes it, it's not good.
This morning, an agreement on Capitol Hill addressing one of the most pressing issues of our time, the housing shortage. In a rare act of bipartisanship, the Senate passing the 21st Century Road to Housing Act, the most...
These are people that never pay for their own gas, by the way, and they're going to pass this. It's similar to that slob trust fund baby who couldn't do a jumping jack or a push-up if I held him out of a window and said, I'm going to drop you. Do one, or I'll drop you. He would just submit. Drop me. I can't do one. That slob, $70,000 for people to buy homes in Chicago with no idea the economic devastation. They tried this a long time ago, back when Barney Frank was running male whores out of his townhouse in Washington. It was called the economic collapse of 08 eventually. So now these communists and socialists, they're going to do it again. And that's why they're all excited.
Far-reaching housing reform legislation in decades.
I don't say this a lot, but today I'm proud to be a member of the United States Senate.
The measure.
Nobody's proud of you, Indian. You even sound like an Indian. Is that Chippewa or is that Comanche? What exactly accent is that? Pennsylvania Dutch?
Will loosen regulations to encourage more home construction, open up funding to convert abandoned buildings into new housing, and ban...
Well, don't we already have all this? You have all this. It's the money that's being stolen on an hourly basis in Shirakistan, known as TIF and other bull dung, that a bunch of con artists posing as contractors pretend to get contracts, and moron Republican lawyers who've never done anything either, like Mike Johnson, pretend that this is a good thing.
Wall Street investors from buying single-family homes, so those homes can instead be sold to families.
It unlocks... Now, ask somebody in Shirakistan right now. Ask somebody, would you rather be renting your house or own it as the property taxes go up 40% in 3 years? Would you rather be renting your house or own it as big lambones who never worked a day in their life for the city, calling themselves inspectors, get out and say, hey, the fence is down. You better do that. There's a $500 ticket. Cut your lawn. What would you rather do in these Democrat, fascist, mafia, socialist cities? What would you rather do? And this is the idea that they're helping you. The whole time they're casting you into constant slavery through taxation. Now, if you're in on this, well, that's simple. If you're in on it, then understand it's good to be in on it. It's only bad when you're not in on it. You know where I heard that, Squirrel? One of these African politicians. And you know what's nice about the African politicians? They have a lot more je ne sais quoi in their speech than, say, a Chicago public school student who pretends to be mayor.
Corruption is not bad. Corruption is only bad if I'm not involved.
Yes. Yes!
But if I'm part of that corruption, I'll defend it.
Like a socialist. And that's why they all defend it. Because they're in on the corruption. From Ro Khanna, who stole, through inside information and policy front-running, $170 million without a losing transaction, averaging 16 stock trades a day, and has yet to even be questioned by anybody, by a reporter or an investigator. He's now a socialist. Throw in the $170 million, ferret face. Let's see how you do.
I do believe that this shows two things. First, Mamdani is a star. Anyone dismissing him is just naive and out of touch. He is one of the...
This is what happened with Barack Obama, who never achieved anything in his rat life, and I mean anything, other than a suck-on to the First Ward Mafia. Never achieved anything in his life, but he was going to be spectacular. Just take a look at your insurance premiums.
The 5 most consequential Democrats in the nation right now, and people should treat it.
Who are the other 4 failures? Who are the other 4? Did they live with their mommy and daddy too and steal Netflix as their qualification to become mayor of what used to be a great city? Now, an example of why you don't go to New York, Chicago, New Jersey, or L.A.
Him with respect. And the second thing is that the progressive movement is on the ascendancy.
On the ascendancy? You're all broke! You're busted! You're lying! You're cheating! You're stealing. Like Illinois. Like Illinois. How much money have you stolen and misappropriated? Not just from the pension funds. From all of it! What's the... They call it deficit. What's the bankruptcy number to get you flush? Do you have one? Because you got a state of $56 billion that's increased 30% since Fat Boy's been in there. And you got 77 tax increases to go along with it. Is he one of the 5? Oh, I think he is. And then there's the fraud in L.A. who puts his wife on NGOs like little Dick Durbin and that portly bimbo.
In the House of Representatives and across the country. And the idea of just saying, oh, this is New York, is just not true. We've been winning in Pennsylvania, in New Jersey, in Michigan.
Only in the fiefdoms. Only in the fiefdoms, because in the fiefdoms, they normalize it. Like right there in Shirakistan. How many people knew of a methadone clinic? One ghetto methadone clinic. One. Where the scumbags stole $75 million in 2 years. $75 million in 2 years. And Squirrel, what I like about this particular Democrat scumbag fraud, not just that stupid beard he's got. I love the name of his boat.
The owner of a methadone clinic in Oak Lawn is facing charges in a massive fraud scheme. He's accused of stealing millions to fund a lavish lifestyle. WGN's Angelica Sanchez has details on the case.
Did you go to Juicy Crab?
The CEO in this case is accused of submitting hundreds of fraudulent claims for counseling services that never happened. He's accused of committing healthcare fraud of more than $75 million. This office in suburban Oak Lawn is at the center of a federal investigation. The owner and CEO, Daniel Robinson, is being charged with 2 counts of healthcare fraud.
Now, are you from the Philadelphia Robinsons, or are you from the Detroit Robinsons? Or are you just another scumbag who's a 7th-generation suck-on Democrat who figured out, instead of being on welfare, I'll be the one that lies to the socialist system we already have in place called Medicare?
Fraud. No one was there when we stopped by, and the phones went unanswered. A phone number for Robinson also appeared to be disconnected. Court documents allege ODA Solutions, located in the 4200 block of West 95th Street, submitted hundreds of fraudulent claims to government-subsidized healthcare programs for behavioral healthcare counseling and therapy services that were never provided. The company billed Illinois Medicaid over $92 million and was paid just over $75 million since January of 2024. It's also
this ghetto building. Nobody there. Big stupid CEO with a beard, looking awful dumb, thinks he's Huggy Bear from Starsky and Hutch. This fracking moron. $75 million you paid. Nobody was there.
Also alleged the company regularly submitted claims for 500 or more hours of counseling and therapy services per day, an amount prosecutors say is much more than what the clinic's employees could have provided, even if they worked 24 hours a day. According to the complaint, when Medicaid-affiliated programs began asking for proof of services, the company is accused of providing notes from dozens of fake visits. Documents accuse Robinson of putting millions of...
Was the note from your mother? Like, welcome back, Cotter? Was it Mrs. Robinson write the note, you fracking thief?
Dollars in Medicare payments to fund his personal brokerage accounts, purchase jewelry, luxury cars, and even a yacht named Butt Naked. Robinson is also accused of laundering.
Give me a price on that boat after they seize it. I want to fly on the SS Butt Naked. We'll drive around, and after all, the tramps that already were on the Butt Naked know the rules. Everybody Everybody get naked, except for the fellas. 312-642-5600.
Call Shaun now. 312-642-5600.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. A recent report issued by British Member of Parliament Rupert Lowe documents the grooming and horrific sexual abuse of as many as 250,000 young girls across England. These girls endured gang rape, brutal abuse, forced abortions and pregnancies, and even coerced Islamic conversion. And it happened while social workers, teachers, police, and prosecutors looked the other way. Now the victims are being failed again, this time by America's legacy media. Since the Lowe report was released, ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, and MSN Now have devoted virtually no coverage to its findings. Legacy media journalists often lament Americans' declining trust in the press, but this is why. Media bias isn't only about how stories are covered. It's also about the stories legacy news organizations choose to ignore.
Picture warm Gulf breezes, turquoise waters, white sand beaches. Now, add evenings of conversation with Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, and Jennifer Horn. This November, sail from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Mexico on a 7-day journey built for those who love this country. Book your cabin today when you text the word cruise to 94878. Celebrate America's 250th anniversary the right way on the Gulf of America Cruise. Book your cabin now. Text the word cruise to 94878.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
Let Cole Digital turn your outdoor space into the ultimate entertainment setup. With a 75-inch SunBright outdoor TV that can stay out year-round and great sound throughout. Like planter speakers on the patio, high-quality rock speakers that blend right into your landscape, or bronze garden speakers that blend into the environment. Our technicians will dig a hole and install an in-ground subwoofer for incredible bass and the best in sound quality. We also install outdoor rated access points for Wi-Fi coverage throughout your yard, and cameras that let you keep an eye on everything with motion-activated recording. Tour our Cole Digital Design Center, 15,000 square feet of audio, video, and great design ideas. Cole Digital is family-owned by conservatives that share your values, and we're based right in Frankfurt. Visit Cole Digital today and schedule your consultation. ColeDigital.com. That's K-O-L-E digital.com, or call 815-469-2000, and we'll bring the showroom to you. 815-469-2000. Cole Digital, what smart living is all about.
AM 560, The Answer.
I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat. Everybody look at me because I'm sailing on a boat.
Now, CPS student.
I'm on a boat. Take a
Squirrel, I'll bet you $10. $10 American money is sawbuck. That moron Robinson spelled butt naked with one T. You want a piece of that action, kid? Everybody get to the dock. Where do you think he went? Not Monroe Harbor. Where's the other one that's near the ghetto? By the ghetto harbor. Burnham. Is that Burnham? All right. I'll meet you at Burnham. The SS Butt Naked lifts anchor, launches with a couple of $5 strippers at 2:30. Don't be late, because the Butt Naked doesn't have a clock.
Laundering at least $10 million in illegal gains through Car King Auto, a Chicago Heights car dealership he helped set up.
Oh, another front, so you could drive around in a Bentley like a man. Think you're like a man because you got money in your pocket. This to me is not even a step up from just slinging crack cocaine like Reverend Al Sharpton. This is just another degenerate. By the way, socialist. I guarantee, yeah, he's down with socialism. Why not? He stole this money from socialism called Medicare.
The case against Robinson is part of a larger investigation by the Department of Justice. In a news release, the U.S. attorney says a Naperville man, Amorali Bimani, was also charged in December of 2024 with 3 counts.
Whoa. ABC, NBC, Morali Balali. Are you Filipino? What is that? What is Morali Barali? Another guy, Pennsylvania Dutch.
Counts of healthcare fraud for taking part in an alleged COVID-19 testing scheme, totaling more than $240 million. Right now, it's unclear if Robinson has obtained legal representation. Reporting in Oakland, Angelica Sanchez, WGN News.
You don't need anything. You don't need a lawyer. You're in the perfect place for scum to be protected by the court system. You're in Shirakistan. All you got to do is say you hate Trump. All you got to do is say, I'm not paying anything. And by the way, Your Honor, you're degenerate Democrat scum underneath the robe. Here's a sack of Joea for you. Because now we all talk like Indians, like Elizabeth Warren. It's a sack of Joea. Can you let me off?
Corruption is not bad. Corruption is only bad if I'm not involved.
Yes. Yes!
But if I'm part of that corruption, I'll defend it.
Absolutely. You're an American Chicago Democrat, scumbag. Welcome to the party. Would you like a Medicare scam? Oh, and Willowbrook.
Hey, Shaun. I love when Democrats say the election of 2020 wasn't rigged. It was never proven. So my answer to them is you're right. It was never proven, just like Tony Accardo wasn't ever proven to be in the mafia. And then I like to throw in their face that I didn't know the Democrat Party was so racist because they voted for a different diaper and got 16 million more votes than their hero.
30 million more votes were recorded than ever before in any election. 32, really. 32 million more votes. And you know what every Democrat said? Now we can really steal. That's when Robinson probably bought the SS butt naked. 312-642-5600.
What if everything you've been told about government, health care, poverty, energy, and even science is a carefully constructed lie? In Shaun Thompson's new book, What If It's All a Lie? Shaun Thompson dismantles the myths at the core of modern America. This is the book the ruling class doesn't want you to read. And once you do, you won't see the world the same way again. Order your copy today at ShaunThompsonShow.com/book.
The following contains a celebrity impersonation.
Mr. President, we're seeing reporting that air conditioning systems are failing as temperatures rise. What is your response?
I said, don't wait. People wait until the last second, then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave perfect guidance. Call Air Right Heating and Cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Sir, but homeowners have so many HVAC options.
They're not like Air Right. You've got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres.
Are companies' cybersecurity ready to handle today's cyber attacks? Some companies never recover due to the fallout. Listen to this. In 2021, a ransomware group called DarkSide gained access to Colonial Pipeline through a compromised password. The impact? 4.4 million paid in ransom. In 2017, Equifax had a massive breach which ended up costing over $700 million in settlements. Large companies from Target, Yahoo, to small businesses, including medical practices, have suffered major losses due to cyber attacks. Many have had to close their doors. Access One is here to protect your business 24/7. Cybersecurity isn't just about IT. It's about protecting your survival and customer trust. If you're concerned about your cybersecurity, get a free baseline cybersecurity assessment from AM560 sponsor Access One. Call 1-800-654-1555 or fill out the contact form at accessoneinc.com. Access One has been protecting Chicago businesses for 3 decades. That's 1-800-654-1555 or accessoneinc.com.
312-642-5600. Corey, you're going to be first in Woodlawn. You know the only thing saving the rest of the country from these Democrat thiefdom scum areas like Chicago or New York or New Jersey, pick a Democrat one. You know the only thing saving us is the Electoral College. And the reason is in decent areas, the voter rolls are not only cleansed, but they're audited and they're reviewed. Democrat federal judges have upended Trump's idea to at least take illegal aliens off the voter rolls. But then again, the Democrats wouldn't have the possibility of outcome that they need when they steal the elections. 312-642-5600 after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott. In the QC Kinetics newsroom, President Trump says he's canceled a signing ceremony set for today related to a housing affordability bill. Trump saying he will not sign that bill until the Voting Rights Save America Act is passed. Deliberations begin today in the Southern California Palisades
fire trial. A magnitude 5.6 earthquake shook Northern California near the Redwood Valley this morning. A man charged with murder in the death of a Chicago Fire Department captain, David Meyer, was back in court today. 44-year-old Charles Green faces 2 felony counts of murder and 1 felony count of aggravated arson. The Justice Department has charged 19 Illinoisans, 3 from Chicago, with various healthcare fraud schemes.
If you seek to harm or cheat Americans, we will find you, seize any assets, and prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law.
Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche. White Sox in Cleveland this afternoon. Cubs have a double dip with the Mets. The news, a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Download the app at 560theanswer.com/mobile. Your next news update is at 5. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. Up next, a check of the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jill Urchak.
On the Kennedy from the Jane Byrne interchange to O'Hare, it's an hour and still wide open on the outbound Eden from 25th Avenue. Outbound trip, give yourself an hour and 10 back out to the Jane Addams. On the Stevenson, 1 hour and 10 as well, out to 355 from downtown. Dan Ryan, 40 minutes out to 95th. Solid Stevenson to the Skyway from an earlier stall. Express stop and go 35th to Marquette. 57 Skyway are clear. Bishop Ford a bit snug either way, and DuSable Lakeshore Drive and the Tri-State both busy in both directions. The Jane Addams is spared a bit, but the Reagan eastbound has a crash on the exit ramp. Also to the southbound Tri-State. Southbound 355 slow as well. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect mostly cloudy skies with a low of 63. Tomorrow, Thursday, will bring partly sunny conditions with a chance of a shower in the afternoon and a high of 81. Thursday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 60. As we head into Friday, anticipate a mix of clouds and sun with a high of 74. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Giving your liver a spring cleaning is easy with Active Liver from New Nordic. Search for Active Liver by New Nordic on Amazon, CVS, Wegmans.
Political tension and market volatility. That's why Advantage Gold wants to send you a free gold investment guide valued at $49, plus a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's acclaimed book, Our Dollar, Your Problem, when you call 800-900-8000. Discover why central banks are buying gold, why many Americans are diversifying with precious metals, and how a tax and penalty-free rollover into physical gold and silver may fit into your retirement strategy. Don't wait until the next crisis dominates the headlines. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000 right now. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again, not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family-owned with integrity since 1981.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Wild West items, political history, we sell your American treasures. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship.
The SS Buck Naked. We launch at 2.
5 passengers set sail.
I hope there was at least the standard. No need to get naked if you're above a size 14.
This is worse than I thought.
This guy, Ro Khanna from California, since he's been in office, he is averaging 17 trades every single trading day for an average of $16,500 per trade. 17 trades a day every.
Are you going to throw your $170 million into the socialist pot? It only works because they won't let us out. And they don't even steal from citizens. They steal from the future in the form of debt. They're Democrats. Corey and Woodlawn.
Hey, Shaun. You know, Jefferson said that if he can remove from Congress its ability to print money, that he can make a decent change to the Constitution. I say we need to remove from them their ability to tax. Because someone gave these people our tax dollars. They gave these clowns our tax dollars.
Do you know what you just did? You just run the campaign speech for Ron DeSantis, because that's what he did in Florida. I don't pay any state income tax, nothing. I'm homesteaded. Now there's a big push to have my property drastically reduced in taxable value and hopefully eliminate it all. And the idea that I have to pay for somebody else's kids to go to school, right here with your communist fracking schools and your rat teachers. What do you think of that?
Thanks, Shaun.
Thank you. Boy, that'll throw a big wrench into the system if they already remove the socialism that exists from the Medicare fraud for heroin addicts being stole by a $2 pimp on the SS butt naked. Or they eliminate the idea that I have to pay these sloth, communist, Marxist, incompetent boob teachers.
Where's the money going? Who's taking it? Are they trying to take that money that kids get for tax cuts for billionaires?
Hey, Randy Weingarten, are you trained? What exactly is your qualifications? Because, see, this dizzy pig whore pretended to be a substitute teacher and got a pension for life. Right there in Shirakistan. Should be so proud of yourself. Or was it New York? You know what the difference is, Squirrel? Pizza. And that's it. Same bulldung. George, Naperville.
Shaun, is the Obama Center a front for Dr. No?
It could be. It's definitely something. I think it's Godzilla's butt plug, and I think they modeled it after the drawer in the Hyde Park mansion that nobody wants to ever smell. And that's the way Democrats roll. They steal out in the open, and the only way they can fund it is by fascistically stealing other people's money. See, that's how it works. They don't have any money, and the ones that do, Ro Khanna, they never pay taxes, and they don't put a dollar into their schemes. They become the gods as people become the slaves. And the only thing holding off this fascistic takeover of everyone's assets is the Electoral College, which is why all the thieves known as Democrats, they hate it, because their ghetto areas can't overwhelm the decent people who reject communism, Marxism, socialism, or just having their assets stolen.
What about the Electoral College?
I think we need to look at that, too. Yes.
Look at it, who? Come on, what is your qualification other than you love the taste of dusty balls? What exactly is your qualification, office whore? Are you upset that there weren't enough people to buy your line of bull dung?
Yes, I do.
Because it's clear to me, and this is me, I don't want to put words in your mouth, that we are being governed by a minority in this country, because most people...
The two of them talking about, please, which one is better? You're distracting me, Squirrel. Stop distracting me. The reality is the Electoral College is what keeps these ghetto areas in the position that they're in, which is already devastatingly bad. But at least it doesn't spread to the others, and there can be a state like mine. No state income tax. The elimination of real estate tax, so I don't have to pay the Marxist, communist, illiterate teachers. I think you're illiterate. Prove me wrong. 18 out of 100 kids can read. Where's that old whore from yesterday making 300% of what she made when she taught?
It's better if you make the argument when you didn't lose the election. You know what I'm saying? Is that
on a position of strength.
On the position of strength. It's like, listen, anybody who studied any small bit of history knows the Electoral College is rooted in slavery. That was the
rooted in slavery. Shut your moron ass up. Why, did the Arabs do it? Did the Barbary pirates do it? Did the Muslims do it? Those are the ones that are rooted in slavery, honey. The Electoral College is to keep the Tammany Hall, the boss tweeds, the Gilded Age in New York, the scum election stealing in New Jersey, or Chirac that still brags about 1960 presidential election. It's meant to keep you low-living, low-character thieves in your own areas.
Well, I personally think the Electoral College is an abomination. For obvious reasons.
Is she lovely, Squirrel? Is she lovely? There's the laugh that will slay wood. She's barred from all lumber yards, from sea to shining sea, and anywhere that sells Viagra.
James Wilson is sort of a shadowy figure to most. I mean, if you ask 500 Americans, they would never have heard of him. He did the one thing that we wish he hadn't done at the convention. He came up with the Electoral College.
All bull dung. He came up with it. It was there for exactly what they suspected. Thieves and frauds, called Democrats, would destroy great areas and turn them into socialist hellholes. Now, we got to go over to our caller here. Leela, Glen Ellen, what happened?
Yes, hello. Oh, for goodness sake, I'm trying to get out of this state. I've been looking on and off for 8 years in Cape Coral to be my dear friends over 50 years. We were disco people having a good time.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah, disco,
this place
sure.
has changed. So anyway,
I'm thinking, you know what, Leela? I think I'm going to open a disco in Cape Coral. We'll call it the Butt Naked. Go ahead.
Something for seniors. I've said that for a long time, even here.
Yeah.
Because disco's dead. I think disco's still going.
No, I was going to go with Wrinkles and Rolls, but maybe we'll go with Butt Naked. But go ahead.
Anyway, so I'm down. My friend down there finds me a house. I go down there. No, I don't like it. I find one I adore. I'm in love with it. Sadly, do I know about real estate? I've been living in the same house for 41 years. No, I don't. And I'm real emotional because it's all furnished. It looks beautiful, first class stuff. It's been. I should have known, and I fell for these people. It's got interior problem. Well, it looks beautiful. Here's you use this expression too, lipstick on a pig. That's exactly what this was.
So,
it was on the market for over a year. People, nobody was interested.
Cape Coral's got a big problem. Cape Coral's got a big problem, and that is that they too are infested. That county, Lee, is infested with Democrats. So I don't recommend it. But Cape Coral also has a problem where they had 3 or 4 developers, Democrats, that were caught stealing, frauding, and not doing a good job on anything. You have to be extremely careful. But I'm going to tell you something. This is my business. This is my real business. And I'm going to tell you something, Leela. And I know you got friends in Cape Coral. You can go see them. It's an hour, and I got a barbecue joint I love. I go there all the time. I go there once a week. Listen, you only buy where Democrats are in charge of government. I mean, where Republicans are in charge of government. Where Democrats are in charge of government, you cannot buy. You cannot buy because they're corruptible. They're on the take. They're always in the envelope business, from the inspectors to the bankers to the rest of it. Stay away from Democrat areas. It's really that simple. You come down to Collier County. Least amount of registered Democrats of any county. No, you come down here. Least amount of registered Democrats in the state.
No. But I didn't know that. I thought everybody's a great governor that you have, and everybody's on the same page, no?
Counties rule.
I'm so old. Oh,
no, you're not. Leela, counties rule. You understand? Counties rule. The county is what's important. You only go in counties that are not run by Democrats. That's it. You don't have to go to mine. There are several. In fact, there are way more counties not run by Democrats than Democrats. But wherever the Democrat rules, it's the same communist fraud, thievery, and low-living character people. You don't want to be there. All right? You hurry up, because now you've inspired an idea. You can work the door and maybe even the velvet rope at Wrinkles and Rolls or the button.
I love it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Mike.
The pervasiveness of this theft. I know that kind of money, Republicans are in on it too. They're just not as obvious about it.
Oh, absolutely.
We got to give a government has to get out. That's it. Go back to the basic functions of government: defense, take care of your
people that they want to use as the weapon to steal your money and your kids' money. They want to use the drug addicts. Well, you got to pay this low-life scumbag Robinson. He's got a methadone clinic. I don't give a rip if you live or whatever. If you're a heroin addict, I don't care. You're going to take my money out of my kid's mouth, off my table, that I can't give my $6 to this scumbag and the SS butt naked? I don't think so, Mike. This is the problem. You bought the socialism under entitlements. There are no entitlements in America except the entitlement to your property.
Broadcasting from the petri dish of corruption known as the state of Illinois.
In the upper Midwest, the nation, and a
560, The Answer.
Fight or flight? In Illinois, you've got both options. You can stay and fight, engage in local races, work to change things. Or you can vote with your feet. At leavingil.com, we help you build a smart exit plan so you know where to go, when to go, and how to do it right. To leavingil.com. That's leavingil.com. Or call 224-800.
Impersonation. Mr. President, we're seeing reporting that air conditioning systems are failing as temperatures.
And then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave heating and cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this. You're right. You got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres. I wouldn't let them near the White House. It would be a complete...
On new systems. Can you confirm?
I've heard about them. A lot of people talking about them. If you miss out, you'd have to be really not so smart. Tremendous savings, let me tell you.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling at AIR-RITE.com. Air Right. Doing it right since 1959.
Making the switch to a new communication, getting the reliable support, consistent internet, and secure solutions your company needs. Meet Access One, your local Chicago reliable IT solutions for over 30 years from our headquarters right here in the West Loop. Whether it's VoIP phones, dedicated internet, managed cybersecurity, cloud backups, or 24/7 support, Access One is here for you. The North Shore. Access One is Chicago-owned and tech startups to manufacturers. We'll make the switch easier than you think. Let's talk. Call 800-804-8333 or visit accessoneinc.com. Rated business. That's accessoneinc.com. Tech made personal locally.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. So Ryan and I came to the decision to get life insurance when I was pregnant with our first son. He really wanted us to be taken care of if something happened to him. He provided for our family in life and also after his death. I think that would make him proud. Ethos makes it fast and easy to get life insurance. Apply in minutes and get same-day coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
AM 560.
The Answer. Wrinkles and rolls, baby. Let it all hang out. Oh, we're bringing that back, Squirrel. All before auto-tune. Oh, Squirrel. I could almost picture myself in the Riviera. Mullet blowing in the wind, smoking a cigar, picking up strangers in cars. Women, though. Women! Get the wrong idea. Nowadays, you got to clarify. Eduardo, Tampa Bay. A lot of nudist colonies in Tampa Bay. What do you think? Wrinkles and rolls. I think we franchised that disco. What do you think?
Yeah, let's bring American Bands. I'm here to Tampa. You know, Shaun, I just heard that state employees in L.A. do not want to come back into the office, and if they are forced to, they will leave the state. No kidding. It's about time.
Listen, do Democrats go into the office anyway? When's the last time you were in Chicago? Did you ever go to Chicago? Like, you ever have to go to a building and you see three lambones walking around, talking to each other? Good for nothing.
It feels like you're working
How
on
many
Saturday,
morons
yeah,
are
or
on
Sunday,
the payroll?
yeah.
You think Democrats go to the office? Get the hell out. It's lunchtime. It's break time. Forget about it, kid. Get the hell out of here. Automate everything. These are morons that should never have jobs. And then they become pensioners. And, we got to tax you for my pension. Well, what about the return on investment that you're driving down on my assets? Don't worry about it. We work for the government. That is communism, Eduardo, not socialism. You already leapfrogged it with these municipal bull-dung pensions, all run by half-ass gangsters that pretend to be money managers that hire the stupid moron relatives of politicians like Mesro. Where did Mike Madigan's kid start? He does this. He's in insurance. What do you think? Your Blago's wife? Another moron. Thank you, Eduardo. I can't stand it. And you know what used to bother me, Squirrel? They would point when you'd be in a tavern or whatever. Ooh, you know who that guy is? That guy's the third cousin of that moron, imbecile family daily. You know, the one that has one guy that could read, the bald one. The rest are complete idiots. That's the third cousin. He's got a lot of clout. You want to get one of those jobs? Get the frack out of here. I'd rather die broke than a scumbag on the take. Tony, Inglewood. I got nervous. I thought it was Inglewood. I said, boy, are we getting a guy who's not a communist in Inglewood? Inglewood, Florida.
Not Inglewood.
Yeah.
Yeah, Inglewood, Florida. Listen,
you're a gambler. I don't even know if I like writing Inglewood on my license, but go ahead.
What was Bill Ayers and Bernadine Dorn, two avowed communist anarchists, doing at the grand opening of the Obama Library? What were they doing, Shaun?
They launched his career, man. You know, his father was a GE. His father was the GE CEO, right? He was one of those. Yeah. Did you ever? I chased him down on the Eisenhower. He got off at home and scared like a little girl. I was yelling out of the car like a madman. In the S580, the Mercedes S580, triple black. There he is. I said, where's your dog wife at? She's probably got her own Mercedes. And these are the scum that launched Chicago gangsters. If you're surprised they're there, they're probably on the payroll. They'll be the only ones that get paid out of that joke, $1 billion butt plug for Godzilla. Did you see it, Tony? Big ugly things, doesn't he? Big ugly things. He likes them big and ugly. Yeah. All right. Well, Tony. And they're liars. Unless, of course, you're invited to the SS butt naked.
The owner of a methadone clinic in Oak Lawn is facing charges in a
Oak Lawn. Let's start there. You know what the beauty of this is, Squirrel? This is just happenstance. Wait. Look at all of these frauds. All of these phony ghetto hell. Illinoistan will make California and Minnesota look like an appetizer because the main course is Mary Palos.
Shaun, I've called before. I'm the Croatian pharmacist in Chicago, but it's a prison. I think Chicago's going to serve it as an example. Chicago are going to go there, and then they're going to evil. And this is, and as far as that methadone, I was a pharmacist. I mean, he was a veteran who was born in Croatia, was in Special Forces Air. The CBD store.
75 million his end. His end. That's what that moron pimp stole out of that front. You're talking serious money. Now, I want to talk about a guy with a bad attitude and a short wit. Are you like that too? You like to punch people in the face who offend you? Got a two-head. You got one of those too?
Yep.
Oh, I love it. Less corrupt in Chicago, and the people are way better looking.
before I was listening about all these people that were haven't gotten paid since like
No kidding.
2021.
Come on, man. Sign a deal with a Democrat. We'll be back.
Show on AM 560.
Chronic knee or shoulder pain? You're not alone. At the joint without surgery, our non-surgical FDA-approved treatment uses in your knee. As we age, the cushion naturally wears down. That cushion, allowing your knee to move smoothly again. Ready to Relief Institute at 708-315-6800. 6800.
Move better, live better with JRI.
And get back to doing what you love. Call 708-315-6800 or visit Joint Relief. Call 708-315-6800. Medicare and Mobility with the Joint Relief Institute.
Today at 833-945-7283. WILSAVE. Schedule your no-cost plan is built to protect what you've worked so hard to assets. Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. right here on AM 7283.
Do you owe back taxes? Get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 9 for a while. Their happy clients are
and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Now has special programs. Been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug. Company that wins when you need it most.
And them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-5331.
Chicago.
Have you ever wondered, with all the different can be sure that you're on the right path and your helps you answer this question and discover how with God through biblical understanding today by visiting pbmusa.org.
It's news. WIND, Chicago.
So I said he's got a notice for jury duty. Asked if he was a citizen. Val, put yes, and you're a the round mound of refi. You can't make something more affordable by giving them $70,000, but what you for a refi, David Hochberg, after Mike Scott in the news.
Couple of showers and 76. An early morning crash left one person dead. Troopers near Torrance Avenue around 5:30 this morning. Roadway when the victim was struck and killed. It's been recovered from Lake Michigan's choppy water. President Trump says he's canceled a sign bill. The president saying he won't sign that bill. House Republican Speaker Mike Johnson to achieve the same goals.
House Republican
that will have that. I talked the president through that in detail this morning.
President to sign the housing bill within the next 10 days. And leaders to talk about how to prevent today. The news, a service of the AM 560. When you go to 560theanswer.com. AM 560 Business Beat.
This report. Stocks finishing mixed and choppy. Pending worries. Chip stocks resuming their sell-off as investor sentiment. Oil is $70 a barrel, its lowest level since late February. Lower. Alphabet stock fell around on Monday. Airline stocks took off as oil prices lower by 110. After hours trading after the memory chip maker reported block topped analyst estimate.
Our founders believed that freedom wasn't just a word, it was a way of life. Fully, but pain has a way of taking those freedoms away. That's why we're seeing how many in this audience have regained 100% drug-free. It's a research-based supplement designed to help at its source, not just covering it up. Over 1 million Americans they thought were behind them. So this year, as we celebrate 250 with the freedom you deserve, Relief to commemorate our country's birth, they are offering a special so you can celebrate your freedom from pain. Your 17 now relieffactor.com 800
building income in retirement.
You know, you can actually structure it for every single month, so you don't have it's down, you still got that $4,000 a month, and having fun things in retirement that you always dream to do.
Unleash your wealth. On AM 560, The Answer.
World Cup ski races in history. But what does success mean? The drive and passion. If you're looking for success, surround yourself with the people who will get you there. Success meets success.
Stephen Nicholas and Company.
Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment.
We've got the answer from the AM 560.
Willow medical emergency off to the right shoulder, just a slight delay. About 1 hour downtown to O'Hare I-90. On the Stevenson outbound, that's an hour out to 38 minutes out to 95th. In the express lanes, you'll be very heavy, though, along DuSable Lakeshore Drive. You'll see that delay in both directions with an Avenue curve. Delays into that, actually, either way. All the toll 60 Advantage membership has its privileges, including early access to event tickets, exclusive content. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official cooling weather center.
Tonight will be mostly sunny skies with a chance of a shower in the afternoon and a high of 81. Thursday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 60. Friday will have a mix of clouds and sun. and Katerina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry and all guns. I love it, property. And let me tell you something. If you care about your country, read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
When you hear
And when the band plays, hey,
morons celebrate the passing of something called affordable and housing, you get real nervous.
This morning, an agreement on Capitol Hill addressing one of the most pressing issues of our time, the housing shortage. In a rare act of bipartisanship, the Senate passing the 21st Century Road to Housing Act, the most far-reaching housing reform legislation in decades.
I don't say this a lot, but today, I'm proud to be a member of the United States Senate.
The measure will loosen regulations to encourage more home construction, open up funding to convert abandoned buildings into new housing, and ban Wall Street investors from buying single-family homes so those homes can instead be sold to families.
It also includes a down payment assistance in the same way J.B. Pritzker does for $70,000 for a couple. That has one outcome and one outcome only, in my opinion. But my next guest deals in this world, and he is one of the few people in the money bundling business, as I like to call it. Some call it the real estate loan business, who has integrity and knowledge. He is the round mound of refi. Sorry I interrupted your yoga class. David Hochberg.
Good morning. Good afternoon, Shaun. How are you?
Very good. Yeah, I know we probably threw you off with the time, and I know you keep time by meals, so I'm assuming you must have had eggs for lunch. However, what do you think about $70,000 by the doughboy, J.B. Pritzker, for a couple to buy a home in Chicago? I dare you. Or now that the Republicans and Communist Democrats came together with their new affordable housing, 2008 times 3?
No, I don't think so. Listen, the qualifications to try to get your hands on that money, that $70,000, it's like sucking a golf ball through a Coke bottle, right?
Nobody said Kamala Harris.
Extremely.
Go ahead.
Okay, there you go. It's extremely difficult, and here I'll be brutally honest with you. When I saw that the Senate passed the Affordable Housing Act and then it passed the House, I swear to you, I'm like, Trump's going to do something not to sign it, so I'm not even going to read it because he's going to do the SAFE Act. I said it to myself last night, okay, and then sure enough, I woke up this morning, breaking news. Trump isn't going to sign the bill that he helped in his administration and the Republican-led House and the Republican-led Senate all backed because he's trying to hold it up for the SAFE Act, which he doesn't have the votes for. So I kind of know what the basis is, right? It's like the lead-in said, it loosens building, which is good. It limits the amount of housing that Wall Street could buy so the American consumer could get a bite at it. But just be careful what you wish for, Shaun, because you remember Romeoville back in 2008, right? When $300,000 homes were selling for $75,000 to $80,000, and BlackRock came in and bought up basically the entire inventory in Romeoville and stabilized that market when there wasn't a market. So just be careful what you wish for, right?
Well, exactly. And the reality is they pretend that there's a villain outside of the people who are posing the answer. The villain in the story of real estate is government. It always is. It's the municipality, it's the county, it's the state, and it's the federal government that has created every bust in real estate, every inflated cost in real estate. And it's fascinating to watch them glaze over the reality of what just these Democrat areas have done to real estate. And it doesn't have to be 131 South Wacker, but when you look at the destruction to the quality of real estate value, the abandoned properties and towns. You have towns in Illinois completely abandoned. Where's the housing crisis?
Yeah.
It's not a housing crisis. It's a quality of life crisis. And there is no quality of life in the most government heavy-handed areas, is there?
No, you're 100% right. Did you see what 401 South, I think, State sold for? It sold for 94% less than it sold for in 2016. I think it sold for like $4.6 million, and in 2016 it sold for like 94% more. I saw it in Cranes or something like that. 401 South State Street, Shaun, sold for 94% less than it did 10 years ago. Which means what? That tax burden is going to roll up on every single homeowner and business owner in Cook County who owns a piece of real estate. It's absolutely disgusting what's happening.
And it's a staggering percentage loss, but you're doing it at face dollars. You're not even inflationally adjusting. When you inflationally adjust, it's well over 100%. Sure. When you throw in the taxes and the rest of it, I mean it's a lambasting beating. But while you were talking, I asked the evil search engine machine, Clyde, how many towns? Listen to this. How many towns in Illinois are considered ghost towns? Over 80. 80. Wow. You have over 80 towns in Illinois that are completely abandoned. So J.B. Pritzker isn't giving anybody assistance. You could buy one of these homes in this abandoned town for next to nothing. What he's doing is steering financial loss. He's steering the puffery of inflated real estate prices in order to tax the people who could not afford their down payment on an inflated price that the house is not worth. See, because without that down payment, no buyers, the house values come down. They do not understand the very premise of what a market is.
Right, and we've talked about this numerous times with the Chicago Land Bank and the meeting I had down there. We had 3 or 4 black business owners who were home builders, who were building beautiful homes, Shaun, right, that they were selling for $250,000 to $300,000 on the southeast, southwest side, that up in Glenview or in your part of the world in Elmwood Park would go for $600,000, $800,000. Okay, I mean, just beautiful work that these black-owned businesses were doing, and every single one of them said, our biggest problem is cost of capital. We can't gain access to capital to build more houses. You're giving all the money to the people that are buying our houses. They're the ones that are making all the money, because they're getting in with little to no money down and all these closing cost credits and, blah, blah, blah. And these poor builders, which is who you need to be successful because you need them to build these homes, are the ones that they aren't looking out for, right? Why don't you take care of the black business owners on the south side who have got a proven track record that have built homes in those neighborhoods and give them a line of credit so they can build 10 instead of 1 or 2 at a time, and then you'd really put the housing market back on track. Because there are people out there, there are buyers in those markets who would like to buy the houses. There's just no houses out there, enough houses for them to buy. So it's
they're hoisted. They're hoisted
backwards.
And they're hoisted by their own petard, right? Because so many people have either really good percentages on mortgages that they don't want to ever abandon, or they themselves don't have the wherewithal, the ability, or the energy to move. But you do have, in Cook County, in Chicago, the largest amount of abandoned existing properties, tax auction properties, properties that have been put into receivership. This notion that we buy the premise of their whole argument is what I find nauseating. Once again, they are lying about the premise of the solution and the problem. And all it leads to is the more economic destruction. And, I don't know why people don't understand. A pebble in the pool of economy can be a tsunami of destruction if the pebble isn't dropped specifically where it needs to be, if ever at all. I am not one for government financing anything. And then when you talk about the fix, we're not going to have Wall Street buy houses. How many people, now, David, I know you, and I know what you've told people. How many people should not ever be a property owner and should be a renter, especially in an unstable market?
I just talked to one Monday night. Here, you'll love this, okay? She makes 25 G's a year. He makes 30 grand a year. Her credit score is 620. His credit score is 520. They both have hourly jobs, but they've only been at the job for less than a year, each one of them, okay? Less than
Never
a year.
buy.
So I'm like, how much you got for a down payment? Nothing. I'm like, okay, so here's the plan, right? Number one, you're not getting a mortgage with no down payment and a 520 credit score on an hourly job 1 year into it. So here's what we're going to focus on. I don't know where they're even coming. They wanted to buy a $200,000 home, which they didn't even qualify for. You know what I mean? Not including their car loans and their credit card debt. I'm like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a year pause. We're going to focus on taking care of your boyfriend's credit to get it from 520 to 620. We're going to then get 2 full years under your belt with an hourly job, which is what we need to go with an FHA loan or any type of loan. You got to show a 2-year history. And then we'll take a look at it this time next year, right? The unrealisticness, that's not even a word. The unreasonableness of some of the listeners out there of wanting to buy homes when they don't even qualify to buy homes is like astronomical. I'm glad they're calling me, so at least I could tell them instead of them wasting time with another lender who's going to try to shoehorn them into a loan that's never going to close.
But they will find a shyster out there. They will find one that will find them a Penny Pritzker bank, a Pritzker loan deal, or some other fraud that will put them into financial turmoil for the next 30 years of their life. And this is the beauty of renting. I rented 30 years of my life. I never lived in a house from the time I was a baby till I bought my own house. Renting for people who are not wealthy is the safest, smartest move because your costs are fixed. When we talk about these buildings, they're connected. They just don't seem that they are. When people lose 90% and not inflationally adjusted money, they not only were renting, they're worse than renting. They just lost all their fracking money plus some. A renter knows what their costs are going to be. They can adjust and they can save and they can plan for the future. When an owner of a real estate, especially in Democrat Cook County, your property taxes jump 40, 50, 60% on some of these properties. You can't budget that. And next thing you know, you're bankrupt. So they continue to perpetrate the cycle of financially destroying people who can afford it the least.
Well, here, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with renting. I mean, that 62 to 65% of Americans own home, depending upon the year, right? Between 60 and 65. All right. And I follow this guy on X, QE Infinity. He's fantastic. Okay. And he posted something of a video of a middle-aged lady sitting on the floor of, I guess, of her house, saying that she's got a 2% loan or 2 point whatever percent loan. And she was tired of the upkeep. She was tired of the higher taxes, and she was going to sell her home and rent. Right? And people were pounding her, absolutely pounding her. So I chimed in. I'm just like, listen, this is a grown woman here. It's a good move for her because she doesn't want to own a house. And unless you're going to step up and fix all the stuff that goes wrong in her house that she doesn't want to fix, is what she said in her video, or to throw money into the pot to help her with her increasing real estate costs and insurance, stay in your lane, mind your own business. I got jumped, right? I got jumped online over this. So I'm just like, listen, it's a grown woman. Stay in her own lane. I mean, why do people care what people do, Shaun? I don't, she wants to rent.
They're fascists.
Who cares?
They're fascists. I mean, that's the irony. These are fascists. They don't understand what the word means. They're forcing people to own. They're forcing people to buy who shouldn't buy. Years and years ago, after the collapse, I had come across this guy who I don't know him. I still don't know him, but he's a wonderful guy, wicked smart. He owns that First Trust, and he has a couple of guys that work for him. I met a kid that worked for him. I said, you know what you guys should do? You should go and buy blocks of property. Buy the blocks of property, be the landlord, and fit the rent to the people who you want to put in there. Because there are two groups of people that should never really own. Old and young should not own. You should know. If your job is going to change when you're young, if your life is going to change, you should know. Now, can you own and can it work out? Yes. But you would be far more financially stable and flexible if you rent when you're young. And when you're old, who wants to deal with that nonsense unless you're rich? Now, if you're rich and old, you don't deal with anything. People deal with it. But if you're not rich and old, you want a fixed price so you can enjoy your life. And at some point, you almost want to cash out if you can. So the economic illiteracy is being sold and perpetrated by government when who could answer this problem are the very people that they just put a law can't help you. The guys who know better, the guys on Wall Street, the guys who understand money, the guys who want to take the risk and the cost for the long-term equity buildup because they could take advantage of ownership and they could do it in mass quantity and solve tremendous problems, and you won't have 80 abandoned towns in a fracking one state that used to be an employment state. That statistic alone, anybody who doesn't know that is probably the same moron that's cheering for government to help them with a down payment.
Yep, and you know what, Shaun? It's like you said. There's nothing wrong with renting. I mean, you got people that came out of bankruptcies that can't buy a house. You've got people that, like this lady who doesn't want to own a house, doesn't want to upkeep the house, and she's got a rate in the twos. Doesn't matter to her. She doesn't want to deal with it, right? You've got people living in their parents' basement. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But you know what? Home ownership's not for everybody. That's why we have something called apartments, right? I mean, apartment buildings and homes that are for rent. There's absolutely nothing wrong with renting. And home ownership is not for everybody.
How about when you got the property, you've owned the property, like I got a couple assets still hanging around, and they jack the insurance up in Illinois quietly where nobody talks about it, 35% on property insurance. And then your fence blows over. And then a storm comes in the thing. You know, these people are totally economically illiterate. If you don't have money to float an emergency for 10, 15 grand on the IFCOM tomorrow morning, don't buy a house. Because that could happen very easily. A plumbing problem, a fence problem, a roof problem, a window problem. You're 10 or 15 out of the door in a hurry. What are you going to do? Put it on credit card? So this is why, I love to talk to you about it. Because I've watched you tell people, forget about it. You don't need to buy. And when you see the way in which people are swindled by their very politicians who create the climate of abandoned towns and 90% losses on buildings, I'm telling you, kid, this isn't even the middle of how bad it's going to get in these Democrat areas, in my opinion.
I agree. Hey, listen, I'm one of those guys who had his neighbor's tree blow over right through our vinyl fence, $2,000. Okay, she cut down all the buckthorns around her pine tree the first time it rained. The day after she cut them down, wind came. There were no buckthorns to block the wind. There goes the pine tree into my backyard. It cost me $2,000 to remove the tree and to get a new vinyl pane, fence pane. So that happened to me, $2,000.
I went back for the golf outing. I went back for the golf outing. And, there was a wind in Chicago. I go back for the golf outing. All of a sudden, I'm out in the yard with a cigar in my mouth with the Bermuda shorts on, no shirt, pounding nails into a fence to put the fence back up. I said, I need this anymore? I don't want to do this fracking garbage anymore. Sell everything. And you can't because the kids can't buy anything, right? Now, what do you do? Now, the kids can't float that. Right. Can you imagine a young kid getting started in their life? All of a sudden, you get hammered for $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. Every time I go back, I need a new fountain pen. It's preposterous, the cost in Illinois and the way in which they're unmoored from any reality. Insurance went up 30% on a home in fracking Elmwood Park. Why? And the answer is the insanity, the climate, the chaos of break-ins and nonsense and a bunch of intangibles that they don't have to justify. They can change your costs in a second. Next thing you know, I got Maria Pappas dressed like Liberace justifying why my taxes doubled.
How about taxes and how about insurance in Florida? If you could even get it,
I was going to call you.
Of loans, as you know,
30% down. Mine just dropped.
Really?
Mine just dropped 30%. I was cackling to my lovely. I said, I lose 30 here. I gain 30 here. I'm Jerry Seinfeld on the insurance. I'm even Steven. But it's a joke. At least Florida, they told you, well, it was that Ian you sat on your balcony and watched roll in. That's why it's going up. Okay, fine. But this in Illinois, nobody has justified why the property insurance has gone up to me, in my opinion. Nobody can tell you.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because they can, and they did, and they shoved it right down everybody's throats. We used to tell people buying a condo, figure $900 to $1,000 a year for HO6 insurance for the walls in insurance. Now we're telling people, buyers, it could be anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 depending upon your credit. So it's doubled. It's absolutely gone up 50 to 100%. So everybody's got a budget for it, and it's just costing everybody more money.
You know what else is funny is the HOAs people are ignorant to. I know this in real estate. You know this. And then when you're living through it, you have to tell these people in HOAs, if you're a good person and you understand the economy, get on the board because morons, sexually frustrated third wives can ruin your day. That's the other thing. They jack that up in the middle of your frickin' deal. You'll blow a deal in a heartbeat with a couple of ex-strippers in a G-Wagon deciding to put new fences and flowers in, won't you?
We've got condo buildings downtown Chicago with a 24-hour doorman, security and an elevator. It's costing $600-700 a month for the condo association. $600 to $700 a month in an association, dude. That is nuts.
And wait till they stop paying.
No frills building.
Remember when a third or half go into receivership? Now you really, those of you who are in the boat, you better hang on. All right, so give out the phone number and 56david.com and your NMLS. I don't have the sheet open. I'm lazy.
All right, that's 855-563-2843 or go to 56david.com, NMLS 1366675, equal opportunity lender.
Okay, now listen, I know that during this interview you got at least 3 barbecue stains on your shirt while you were driving. Just shout it out. Yell at it. Get out. Thank you very much, David Hochberg. I appreciate you making time. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Gary Carr, retired homicide detective and the owner of Illinois Concealed Carry Training in Midlothian. For 10 years, we've helped more than 20,000 students become safe, responsible, and confident firearm owners. If you're looking to get your Illinois Concealed Carry license or need to renew, now is the perfect time. Our law enforcement-led training gives you the knowledge and skills to protect yourself and your family. Our 16-hour concealed carry class includes live fire training, one-on-one coaching, Illinois and Florida certification for expanded reciprocity, range qualification, and a full-color textbook. We provide the firearm, ammunition, eye and ear protection, targets, and range access. Need a renewal? Our 3-hour renewal class keeps you legal and current on Illinois firearm laws. Thousands of students have trusted us for professional instruction, flexible scheduling, and exceptional value. Illinois Concealed Carry Training in Midlothian for classes, less lethal options, and self-defense legal plans. Visit us at concealedcarrychicago.com to reserve your seat today. That's concealedcarrychicago.com, concealedcarrychicago.com.
Hey, it's Scott Tucker and my new co-host,
Amy Jacobson,
on AM 560. We wanted you to know that we have a special show every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. here on AM 560, The Answer. It is Retirement Dakota with Scott Tucker and
Amy Jacobson.
It's every Sunday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. 2-hour show, 2-hour radio extravaganza. Amy, we're going to tantalize the listening public and the listening private with all kinds of retirement planning information. So tune in at AM 560 Sunday mornings at 7 a.m.
Town Hall News, where conservative voices cut through the noise from breaking headlines to fearless opinion. We report what matters without apology. Written by people who actually believe what you believe. Town Hall tells the stories the corporate press buries, from President Trump to Capitol Hill. From pivotal elections to your everyday lives. Join the movement at townhall.com. Real stories, real reporters, real conservative media.
You know, it's very, very interesting as you see manipulated government-created markets like the green energy boondoggle and those fraud companies that really don't exist, and if they do, they exist on lies, like Rivian, which loses $441 million in a quarter, and that's the best quarter they've ever had. So you don't want to touch that stock with a 10-foot pole. You want to grab the 11 states, the massive growth that's happening from the $18 trillion that are coming onshore to privatize the economy. That's where Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth come in. They'll not only help you avoid the fraud in the economy, the fraud that is the government-created, government-controlled economy. They'll help you take advantage of the massive growth under the Trump administration of private economy and the lowering costs of energy, specifically oil. Tom Fortino is all over this. He's also on precious metals. Silver and Gold is a song he wakes up to on his alarm clock. And if you've seen him on television, he could have been an actor. But instead, he's just a financial wizard who helps people gain their retirement goals and make certain their kids get the money, as Alpha Wealth has been doing for 30 years. So if that appeals to you, you want to make money and hand it down to your kids, that's all you got to do. AlphaWealth.com. It's that simple. Call AlphaWealth.com at 630, Squirrel, where is the number? 630-864-6711. That number again is 630-864-6711. Tell anybody who answers the phone are going to be one of the people who have been helping people succeed in their goals for 30 years. You want a no-obligation consultation of your retirement. You want to make certain your kids get the money, not some Democrat, bankrupt politician, or an illegal alien smuggling fentanyl. Call 630-864-6711 or online, alphawealthgroup.com. And don't forget Saturday mornings right here on AM 560, The Answer at 9 a.m., the Alpha Wealth Group Hour, where you can hear an hour conversation, fundamental economics, and the economy, and the predictions of where it's going and how you should hold your money, the Alpha Wealth Group Hour. When we get back, 312-642-5600. I had somebody on the line from Connecticut. If he's still there, he's definitely going to be first. Ralph in Connecticut will be first. That'll be after Mike Scott.
Good evening, Shaun. A shower or thunderstorm tonight with a low of 64. In our QC Kinetics newsroom, an early morning crash along 8094 in the south suburbs left one person dead. Illinois State Police say the victim was changing a tire around 5:30 in the morning along the roadway when they were struck and killed by a semi. President Trump met with Republican senators on Capitol Hill today. It came after the president canceled a housing bill signing ceremony, saying he won't sign that bill until the Voting Save America Act is passed. Deliberations started today in the Southern California Palisades fire trial. Closing arguments wrapped up yesterday. Local youth weighed in next to community mentors and city leaders, talking about how to prevent Chicago teen takeovers at Chicago City Hall today. White Sox take on Cleveland. Cubs play 2 with the Mets. The news, a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device. Download the AM 560 mobile app, 560theanswer.com/mobile. Your next news update is at 6. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. Up next, a check of the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jill Urchek.
It's wide open on the Eden, still going out to Lake Hook Road. The Kennedy out is an hour and 5 downtown to the airport, and the Eisenhower 1 hour out to 390 from the post office. Stevenson holding at about an hour as well to get to 355 from DuSable Lakeshore Drive. 30 minutes outbound Dan Ryan, Titan the Express, 31st out to Marquette. Heavy conditions along DuSable Lakeshore Drive remains. Tri-State still busy either way as well. And the northbound side is a crash at the Grand Avenue curve off to both shoulders. Jane Addams is fine, but the Reagan and 355, those are slowing. Crash eastbound 80 on the shoulder at Kedzie off to the right shoulder. This report is a service of the daily podcasts of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe for free to the daily podcast at 560theanswer.com/podcast. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect mostly cloudy skies with a low of 63. Tomorrow, Thursday, will bring partly sunny conditions with a chance of a shower in the afternoon and a high of 81. Thursday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 60. As we head into Friday, anticipate a mix of clouds and sun with a high of 74. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Time now for a check of the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
Regular no lead is $3.87 a gallon at the Mariano's on Gulf Road in Hoffman Estates, $3.79 a gallon at the Love's Travel Stop on Bussey Road in Elk Grove Village, and $3.89 a gallon at the Murphy's Express on Rand Road in Lake Zurich.
If If you see a low gas price, text the word gas to 312-642-5600, followed by the price and location. And listen each weekday afternoon at 12:30 and 5:30 to hear the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
Amazon Business. Discover smart business buying where unmatched selection meets AI-driven tools to simplify complex processes so you can focus on what matters most. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
This is a test. WIND is conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. We now return to our regularly scheduled programming, already in progress.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Classic cars, vintage motorcycles, gas pumps, drive up the value at auction. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Where has socialism ever worked, Senator?
Is that another question, or is that for the next interview?
That's definitely for you. You said fish doesn't work everywhere. I just want to know one place where socialism has been beneficial.
Well, when you have me come back on, we can talk about all the races across the country.
Okay. Senator Rochester doesn't know her ass from her elbow, which is the perfect campaign spiel for any Democrat. Ralph, Connecticut.
Hey, Shaun, you always hear O'Connor and Newsom say that California has the fourth largest economy in the world, and now they're going to have a billionaire asset tax. How in the hell, how do they do that by claiming that they're the fourth largest economy in the world? How do they make those types of statements and calculations?
The same way Enron went to jail. They do not count the liabilities. They count perceived revenue from companies that exist even though they know they're moving. And they carve off all of the cost of health care, Social Security, welfare. So you minus all the liabilities, you add up what you think, and you predict are the revenue. If that was a private company, Ralph, they'd all go to jail. Never forget, Ralph, we're in a situation most people forget the way it works. If two FBI guys knock on your door and they say, Ralph, in Connecticut, do you have sugar in your cabinet? And you say no. And you got the sugar in your cabinet. You can do a year and a day. You just lied to the government. But Barack Obama can run on lowering your insurance premiums $2,500 a year as he increased them $5,000 a month. They can lie to us. It's legal for politicians and government to lie to us. It's legal. How many of us knew before Doge that they ran the entire government out of one account? One account. There's no Social Security safety box. There's no management. There's no the budget office or expenditures. They're running it the way that ghetto con artist in Oak Lawn, Illinois, runs his methadone clinic out of one account. So, I mean, what are the consequences when Democrats lie, Ralph? You've been around a while. Have you ever seen any real consequences? Yeah.
Nothing.
No, and they pulled it off because the character was for our lifetime. Thank God. I'm assuming you're around my age. The character of the country was far higher than it is now. That's the difference. We just existed with it because they used to do properly, but not very shrewdly, laugh off these Democrats. They used to, when we were kids, they all laughed at these idiots, socialists. It was unheard of. After all, we just got done killing socialists. They were called Nazis. So it's an interesting math trick that only government can do. You and I could never do it to the IRS. We go to jail. And they get elected.
It's unbelievable.
So I wish it is. Well, it is. And it's,
and they get elected more than once.
But only where the areas are the low character people. I'm telling you, Ralph.
That's true.
This is the one thing to convey. I always want to convey this to people. And you don't have to pick Florida. People get sick. He loves Florida. I don't care. Believe me, if Florida became Democrat, I'd leave. And that's the issue. Once it becomes acceptable to lie, cheat, and steal among your citizens, you're not living in America anymore. You're in the Soviet Union. You just are. So I don't think you can live among them. You can't get along with a liar. You can't have one in your family. You can't have one of these crackheads in your family. You got to throw them out of the house. It's the same thing in your country, as far as I believe, Ralph. Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate the call.
You got it.
Carrie, Crown Point.
Hey, Shaun, I refied with Hochberg, my wife and I think about 8 years ago. I used to actually hear him on the Man Cow show.
Sure.
I never bought a house till I was married, 40 years old. I lived and took care of my mother and then my grandmother. People have to have patience. All my ducks were in a row, no debt. I laid on a nice big amount of money to put down a down payment, and life's been great. But I did things the right way. It wasn't always fun, but I did it the right way.
Well, you have to appreciate. Squirrel sent me, somebody was on, I think, Facebook, and they said you should never rent. Well, that's the old idea that real estate always goes up. The reality is real estate fluctuates daily. The velocity of money never rests. That's why when we talk about money, if you don't understand how to inflationally adjust money, I don't think you should be investing in money. If you don't understand what velocity of money is, and what inflation really is. Inflation is not just a made-up word that politicians use to get elected as they sell lies. Inflation happens because of bad policy, and your goal in investing, number one, is to always protect the velocity of money, which is to offset the destruction of the value of the dollar through offsetting the cost of inflation. So real estate used to do that, but it doesn't do that in Democrat areas. This is a new time in history. Never before has it been acceptable for big cities to lose 94% of building values. Only in Illinois, in Chicago, in New York, in New Jersey, in San Francisco, this is now the norm. So in those areas, you absolutely should never buy. And then you add on,
Shaun,
most people don't understand the fluctuating costs of ownership. But go ahead.
No. On a side note, I just got to tell you, the U.S., the naval ship, the Petard, caught a U-boat. This is a British ship. And when you talked about the Petard, I was laughing because the Petard got the Enigma cipher from the U-559 and helped win World War II. That's when we really started getting the U-boats again. So I wanted to let you know. The
That's an
Petard
inside
also
joke.
Was a Nazi killer.
Right. Well, that's an inside joke for my family. I used to say this to my family when I first came in, hoisted by your own petard. And it really comes from the Knights, the time of the Knights, when the Knights would get killed with their own petard. And, I still have people that laugh at me in the family. But there has never been a more appropriate phrase for American political policies than hoisted
And
by your own
Democrats.
petard. Well, look at it. And then what do they want to do? Save me from myself. Save me from my own policies. Get the hell out of here. Cut these rat pigs loose. My offer to you is this: nothing. Now go into bankruptcy the way you deserve. Scott Willowbrook.
Hey, Shaun. I just got done talking to Honey Bunny. We went to, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We're being attacked by the NSA or some other communist network, but go ahead.
I was just talking to Honey Bunny. We went to Tennessee last weekend, and we went to a concert at the Grand Ole Opry Sunday night. We wound up meeting these people, very nice people. We had a really good time talking to them, like during and after the show. And it turns out this guy is from California, and it kind of goes along with everything that you've been saying so far. And he goes, Scott, I didn't ask you your affiliation politically, this, that, and the other. And I said, well, I'm conservative. I said, I feel like I've been forced into it ever since Obama, because I just started to see that my money was getting taken away from me. And he goes, Scott, let me tell you something. He goes, we lived in California. He goes, and we moved here about 5 years ago. He goes, we weren't going to be able to make it when we were in California. I got us here. He goes, I was hated by my wife. My wife hated me. But he goes, a couple years later, he said, a couple years later, she started to see how much money we were saving, what a life we were having. When you always talked about you could survive or you can live, she started to see that. You know what I'm saying? And my girlfriend, by the way, was talking to her, and she was saying the same thing. I hated him, but I'm so thankful now that I listened to him. We're doing so much. We're doing better than we ever would have been able to do out there. And the other thing that we
go ahead.
The other thing that we do when we were out there, and I want people to understand, because people that do still live in Illinois need to understand that, because we were paying attention to other things about Tennessee, and let's talk about the news. We saw 5 commercials, promoting Trump and voting Republican and that sort of thing. And so when you see the news here, how they blast everything, that's only Illinois.
Yeah.
Because when you see things in Tennessee, believe me, they're
and what do they
Democrats the same way.
You're right. And what do they bank on? What do they bank on? They bank on the fact that you're too busy surviving to pay attention that you could actually thrive. That's the thing. They don't want you to thrive. They want you to survive. It's the backdoor nationalization of your life, Scott. I'm sorry. We're up against the break. We'll be back.
Marxists, socialists, and communists are not welcome on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Schweitzer Engineering Laboratories Incorporated, SEL, has openings for its application engineer automation position. The application engineer automation will help customers apply SEL power system automation products through visits, demonstrations, training courses, and telephone contacts. He or she will also contribute to product specifications, applications, and testing software and literature. Positions are based at SEL's Hawthorne Woods field office. Some travel is required, as incumbent will occasionally and on a short-term basis be deployed to various customer sites. Candidates must be willing to travel to various unanticipated locations throughout the United States on an ongoing basis. Note, position requires regular on-site work at the Hawthorne Woods field office and does not permit remote work apart from required business travel to customer sites. To apply, please email your resume to careers@selinc.com. That's careers@selinc.com. Discover the opportunities available at this world-class manufacturing company. Schweitzer Engineering Laboratories. It's not just a job, it's a future.
Do you have diabetes or high blood pressure? Does someone in your family have high blood pressure, diabetes, or kidney failure? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are at risk for kidney disease and should get screened. The National Kidney Foundation Illinois offers free health screenings through the Kidney Mobile. To find a free screening in your area, please visit kidneymobile.org or call 312-321-1500.
Your home or business has storm damage and you have an insurance claim.
Call Crosscom.
Crosscom Construction and Public Adjusters. Today, insurance companies are notorious for offering way too little money to repair damage to your home or commercial building due to wind, hail, tornado, floods, or fire. Crosscom works for you, not the insurance company. As licensed adjusters, Crosscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout.
Call Crosscom.
630-871-5500. After they get you the fair insurance company result, Crosscom can start doing your repairs. Crosscom is a full construction and restoration company that will get your property back to its pre-loss condition, getting your life back to normal. Roof, siding, windows, doors, fire restoration, Crosscom does it all.
Call Crosscom.
Licensed in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin.
This is Dan Leitz with Crosscom. We share your conservative and Christian values. Let us handle everything. It all starts with a call.
630-871-5500. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, no, you make me think of my friend. Boy, those were the days. Huh? Squirrel the Smoker with Prager, Prof. That's some high level. That was some high level talking right there, kid. Tom in Blue Island.
Hey, Shaun, dittos. Shaun, you and Hochberg were talking about, the insurance. It's not just the amount that they raise rates. It's if you make a claim, you are on the hill that they're going going to drop you. I had two ladies in Alsip. When that storm came through about 2 weeks ago, both of them had trees fall and hit their houses. Now, the one lady, it was a glancing blow, but the other lady, it hit a side of her house, and it hit her house with such force that it cracked a rafter at the top of the valley, and it put a huge dip in her roof. The whole thing will have to be torn off for me to rebuild this valley. And the thing is, she called her insurance agent, and the agent told her if she can, she'd be better served not to make a claim, because 2 years ago, she had these storm chasers come through with this BS hail crap, and and what these people do is they sign with these storm chasers to negotiate with their insurance company. And that storm chaser got that insurance company to give them $40,000 for a roof that probably should have cost about $15,000. And now she got a tree that hit her house, and she's got her agent telling her she's going to have to worry about it getting dropped. And
so
I
wait a
told
minute.
her, well, then you got to let them drop you. A tree hit your house, your roof's half collapsed.
It doesn't matter. Who's the bad guy in the story? Who's the bad guy in that story? Who is the bad guy in that story?
The bad guy is probably the storm chaser.
Oh,
because
there you go.
What happens, Shaun, is
I'm glad you came to that conclusion. You can't mandate companies to lose money. You can't mandate companies to always be the victim. I am not on the side of the people who say the insurance companies are screwing you. Do you want to know something? Most insurance companies shouldn't be forced to give insurance to people. That's how you stop it, because they've been victimized. And can they be the bad guys? Yes. But they're not in business to get robbed. Who is? Except for you, if you're a taxpayer in a Democrat area. You're in the business of getting robbed. We'll be back.
Hello?
Sir, this is Officer Peterson. There's been a string of break-ins in the area, and your office, it was hit.
Hit? What do you mean? We were robbed?
Looks like the back door lock was easily pried open, and they moved through the building like they knew exactly what to take. We see wires everywhere. No computers.
What? No computers? I just upgraded everything.
Looks like they moved fast. We only found out because a neighboring business had their alarm go off. Do you have any security cameras?
No, nothing.
Don't wait until it's too late. Goldilocks protects Chicagoland businesses with custom security solutions. From reinforced commercial doors with keyless entry to cameras and 24/7 monitoring that alerts authorities immediately. Schedule a free on-site assessment at GoldilocksInc.com. Again, that's GoldilocksInc.com. Plus, AM 560 listeners get their first 3 months of monitoring free with a new install. Call 708-889-5600. That's 708-889-5600. Goldilocks, Chicago's premier locksmith, doors, and security systems company since 1981.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again, not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family-owned with integrity since 1981.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
So Ryan and I came to the decision to get life insurance when I was pregnant with our first son. He really wanted us to be taken care of if something happened to him. He provided for our family in life and also after his death. I think that would make him proud. Ethos makes it fast and easy to get life insurance. Apply in minutes and get same-day coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson, and last year I hired Level 10 Coatings to give my garage floor a total makeover, and I am loving it. It still looks great, shiny and clean. Level 10 Coatings. Now, you've got to call these guys if your garage floor is cracked, stained, still covered in salt. Don't live like that. Get it done now so you can enjoy it this summer. Level 10 Coatings. They're fast, reliable, and highly professional. Guess what? I went to work. When I came home, it was done. A shiny new gleaming garage floor. A quick, easy fix. And it's guaranteed never to chip or peel. Why? It's not an epoxy job. It's better. Level 10 uses polyurea, which is much better than epoxy. So schedule your free quote today and mention me, Amy, to receive $500 off. Visit level10coatings.com. That's level, the number 10, coatings.com. Or call 855-510-2628. Staff are local and ready to answer questions. Level 10 Coatings, your premier concrete coating experts.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
See, the difference is we don't have socialists or communists or Marxists or moron Democrats come on the show to give you opinions on reality of financial circumstances. We have experts who succeeded, whether it's David Hochberg or Scott the Cowguy Shality. That's who makes the roster here. People who have done something, who know the fundamentals, and who can help save you in the future. That is Scott the Cowguy Shality, host of his own television show on RFD TV, The Cowguy Close. He will join us after Foxweiser.
Pushback from the head of NATO. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The leader of the alliance answers to criticism that they didn't do enough during the Iran conflict.
During a sit-down with President Trump, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte spelled out NATO commitments during U.S. airstrikes on Iran.
When you look at the numbers, 4,000 to 5,000 U.S. planes taking off from bases in Europe. In the 6 weeks this war took place.
Rutte also showed diagrams of increased defense spending by NATO members, describing it as the Trump trillion. President Trump has harshly criticized NATO leaders for not taking part in Iran operations, even while insisting the U.S. did not need the help of allies.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House, and the White House has formally asked for nearly $88 billion in defense spending, mostly to be used to replenish munitions after the Iran conflict. The Office of Management and Budget sent the request this afternoon. Also this afternoon, the president canceled a planned signing of an affordable housing bill to pressure Senate Republicans into passing the SAVE Act, which requires ID and proof of citizenship to vote. But Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer stands firm.
The SAVE Act is not going to pass the Senate or the House. We're not going to trade lower costs for housing for taking away our voting rights. That's a trade no one would make.
Alabama Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville claims most people back the Save America Act. A powerful earthquake has struck Venezuela, swaying buildings in the capital city of Caracas. The U.S. Geological Survey reported a 7.1 magnitude, with the epicenter about 17 miles west of the community of Morón along the country's Caribbean coast. The USGS says there is a tsunami threat to Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, and a magnitude 6.9 earthquake has struck near the east coast of Honshu, Japan. America's listening to Fox News.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
It's still pretty busy out there. We're seeing delays that remain along I-80 in both directions, and the outbound even still clear. On the Kennedy, downtown out to the airport, that is a 50-minute trip. Jane Byrne interchange on out. Tighten those Express Ohio to Keeler, while the outbound Eisenhower checks in at 55 minutes. Post Office 2390. Stevenson, we're looking at 40 out to the Tri-State, 50 out to the Veterans Memorial Tollway. Outbound Dan Ryan, 28 minutes. Express still tight 31st to Marquette. Delays remain along DuSable Lakeshore Drive and all of the tollways, but the Jane Addams, that one remains to be wide open. This report is a service of the AM 560 store. Order t-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Proft University and the Shaun Thompson Show when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low of 63. Thursday will bring partly sunny skies with a chance of a shower in the afternoon and a high of 81. Thursday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 60. Friday will have a mix of clouds and sun with a high of 74. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Our founders believed that freedom wasn't just a word, it was a way of life. The freedom to move forward, the freedom to pursue what matters most, the freedom to live fully. But pain has a way of taking those freedoms away. That's why Relief Factor exists and why I endorse it. I've seen how many in this audience have regained their freedom and they're back to living life on their own terms. Relief Factor, it's 100% drug-free. It's a research-based supplement designed to help support a healthy inflammatory response, addressing pain at its source, not just covering it up. Over 1 million Americans have found relief and reclaimed parts of their life they thought were behind them. So this year, as we celebrate 250 years of freedom, ask yourself a simple question. Are you living with the freedom you deserve? Relief Factor. They give you the opportunity to live pain-free and to get back to the life you love. To commemorate our country's birth, they are offering a special patriotic price, just $17.76. So you can celebrate your freedom from pain. Your $17.76 3-week quick start is ready for you right now. ReliefFactor.com, 800-4-RELIEF. 800, the number 4, RELIEF.
I'm alpine skier Michaela Schifrin. I've won the most World Cup ski races in history. But what does success mean to me? Success means discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us, and it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. If you're looking for success, surround yourself with the people who will get you there. If you're an advisor or investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated. Member SIPC and NYSE.
Past performance is no indication of future results. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with a, I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live.
We're going to do it live with Scott the Cow Guy Shelley, even though I think I woke him up during a nap in Tennessee on the porch in between the Cow Guy close on RFD TV and a snippet on CNBC, where his opinion is always valuable when it comes to anything financial or money markets, cash equities, financial products on 3 main geographies: North America, Europe, and Asia. Scott the Cow Guy Shelley, who forgot about our interview. How are you, sexy?
Good afternoon. I was glad I was around. You know, and by the way, I feel Bill O'Reilly's pain. I've been there before, by the way.
Everything I do is live. I don't understand why he was so upset. What the hell are you doing? You know, I'll never forget when I had to fill in the first time. The guy goes, "You want to fill in?" Yeah, okay. So I walked in. He goes, "Well, where's all your stuff?" What do you mean all my stuff? Open up the Drudge Report in the Wall Street Journal. Let this puppy ride. We'd ride. So that's how I like to do a show. And, you know, the reality is if you are understanding of the fundamentals of both freedom and economics, I think anybody can do it. And all we have to do is point out the fails of people who have all these plans. All the socialist plans, all the communist plans, all the Marxist plans. How does that look? How do these Democrat areas look? And people get aggravated when New York goes further into the whole of fascism and communism and socialism. They have no other direction to go. Otherwise, they have to admit they've been wrong for 100 years. Don't you see it that way?
Well, yes, absolutely. And, you know, there's this feeling that we've left people behind, right? They feel like the state should be taking care of them. It's not their fault. They've been indoctrinated from these early on from these education concentration camps. And now this is you reap what you sow. They don't want to do anything. They just want it to be handed to them, and they love to hear what these socialists and communist people that are running for office are going to give them.
Well, a lot of this is our fault too, because we have allowed socialism to exist for 75, 80 years. You know, it's a funny thing. We had a teacher call, and I tell you what, it's earth-shattering to me. And they get mad because people complain about being slaves to socialism and to the system that is the municipal pension system. This is something that most people are afraid to talk about. You and I have been talking about this for 20 years. Everybody who gets together. You and I are going to retire or not. I'll never retire. I don't think you will. But the reality is any portion of our wealth is because we did it. We invested it. We made it. We speculated. And by the way, we took the lumps. Everything in the real world, in free America, is based on the return of investment, no matter what that is, except if you're a government worker. And we have allowed these most corrupt areas, like Illinois, Stan, or New York or New Jersey. It's in a law. Somehow, how does that become a law? I believe it's completely unconstitutional that you have this entire section of people that all they have to do is vote for thieves their whole life and swear that their families will. And they're immune to any economic realities. So when I have you on, we talk about the real economy. We talk about the private economy. But there are tens of millions of Americans who aren't subjected to reality. They're government workers. And therein lies the problem. That must stop, and it must stop today. Otherwise, we're always going to be the victim of these most greedy among us, the municipal worker.
Well, I did this special on my show probably about 2 weeks ago. You know, back in the day, you would go to work for the city, at Streets and Sand or the Park District because it was a good, solid job. You wouldn't get fired, and it had great benefits, right? So you got a little bit lower pay up front, but the benefits at the end were supposed to be better, which made up for it, right? Well, now, if you do the math, they have higher salaries up front than the private sector, and their benefits are 82% better than the private sector. It's an absolute cabal. It's a joke, and it needs to stop because it's all of our tax dollars. But nobody's willing to get in the way of it because, number one, it's going to be probably broke. There's not going to be the money there. But two, it's a hot-button topic that no politician wants to take on.
No, and when you look at Chicago, it's the prime example because it's the best. It's the most mafia-run area. It's the prime example. You have teachers that, I don't know if you saw the new contract. They're $119,000 a year. That's their salary.
No what? I haven't seen it, no.
$119,000 a year. And then they get all the cushy benefits and the retirement. And you want to talk about greed. Now, I sent my kids to private school, and I have two relatives right now who are teachers. Two relatives, but not in the public arena. And do you want to know something? The difference isn't just that they don't make as much or they don't have the pension and that. The difference is the kids taught by the private schools can read and can do math. So now you've got the perfect system of the more it fails, the more you shovel money into it. So when you see that communists won in Democrat areas, well, that's not news. They've been winning for 60 years. This is the first time they at least call themselves what they are. Socialists, communists, Marxists. That's what they are. It's what they've always been. And we have been ignorant to it. And to see the fraud that Randy Weingarten, she's in on the scam where she substitute taught for like a week, and she got a full pension. And then she comes out and she talks about tax cuts. See, it's the verbiage that I'm offended by, too. A tax cut to somebody means they keep their money. A tax cut to a company means they keep their money. Why in the world should anybody funnel this system of malpractice, which is public education, aside from the other things? So if we can't win the most simplest of arguments, there is no reality where socialism is legal in a constitutional republic. Why are we this far down the path? Is it fear to talk about it?
I think it is because, it's like the third rail. Look, there was a day, I'm an old man, I know, I get off my lawn, but teaching is a vocation, okay? That's one issue. Number two is when you get paid out of public tax funds, you can't get rich. It's not a place to go get rich. So if you love to teach and that's what you want to do, that you're not going to be able to be making a ton of dough like maybe your friends in the private sector. But over the years, like I talked about with the government employees, they're trying to even up these teachers that work. My mom was a teacher, for God's sake. But you know what? She loved it, and she did it because it was a vocation and she wanted to do it. You're getting money from the public sector, and if you want to get more, you have to raise everybody else's taxes. That's not a good recipe for making a lot of money. I mean, it's pretty obvious to me. I want my kids and everybody else's kids to go to the best schools and have the best teachers, but then that should be private, like you talked about, where their money doesn't come out of public money. That's it. It's pretty easy, if you ask me.
There's also the reality of the fraud math that is being perpetrated. And what I mean by this is somebody who receives their money can be of value if they receive their money from government, right? You can have value teachers. I'm sure that there are 10% out there that are value. And that's great. Even the ones of value can never really be taxpayers. We lose the fundamental argument because we abandon the fundamentals. If you derive your economic life from government spending, you are never a taxpayer any more than somebody on other welfare is a taxpayer.
Right.
So you've got this mixed pool where you urinate in the well and you pretend it's drinking water. It's not anymore. You've tainted the whole well. And if we can't understand or have government separate the liability cost and then pretend that cost is revenue, that's a financial fraud that people go to prison for. I can't just keep giving employee credit cards and pretend it's revenue. That's all you do when you pretend municipal people, federal government people, county people, state people are taxpayers. You're not. You may be of value, but that's a separate argument. The other argument is a financial reality argument.
Well, they're money launderers, really. Come on. It goes in one end, it comes out the other. They're not producing any new dollars. It comes from taxpayer money, which is everybody's going to get angry and send me mean tweets. I get it, but I'm not saying that it's not a vocation that everybody should be proud of. It's just the fact that when it's turned the way it's turned into this concentration camps for this indoctrination of our young kids, and then they want to make all this money on the public dime. I have a problem with it.
Of course, it's reality. And then the phony idea that a job or an occupation has virtue. I think the cops that used to sit behind Ed Burke's the big fat-ass gangster's house and drive him to his side broad proves you could be a cop, but you have no virtue. So let's not pretend everybody's Sir Galahad out there, especially when you've been in on the mafia planes. So that's number one. And the only reason it's been able to be financed this long is because we, the decent, have been able to carry the costs and grow the economy. Now, I'm excited about the growth in the economy, and I feel it's very private sector driven. However, we also have to avoid the puffery of what is suspected to be of value, but is not of yet value. I do not like these data centers. I don't like them at all for the simple reason of you cook in the idea that the data is no longer the individuals and it can be monetized by some third party as long as they pretend they have a data center and you make money. I don't like that, number one. Number two, I don't believe you need it. I think it's already outdated as quantum computing crushes the data to a tenth, if not less, of what it occupies today. So you've built this entire sector of what is supposed to be growth to municipalities and states, and you ignore the liability of energy costs and the rest of it, but it could very well already be outdated. And that is lost in the argument. And you remember the dot-com boom, how all the nonsense went on, and what happened? 90% of those companies were outdated before anybody even bought a stock in them.
I mean, to some degree, that's already happening a little bit, Shaun. But, the biggest companies that we're talking about with AI, over the next 5 years combined, they're going to be spending $1 trillion each year. $1 trillion. Now,
that's insane.
Of that $1 trillion, I know it is. Of that $1 trillion, 40% of it's going to go into, plants, fixtures, and fittings. And then the other 60% is going to go into, CPUs and actual hardware. But it's $1 trillion a year.
I mean, when you look at
Absolutely
these numbers,
insane.
It really is. All of it, none of it should have happened. It could only happen because we're unmoored from the very basic financial reality of now you can just create that arbitrarily. And it's nobody knows nobody votes for this stuff. Nobody votes for this debt that's created. And somehow it exists when it comes from government, orchestrated government. And I feel like this is a big part of this entire move. A lot of it is going to be debt. And if it doesn't pan out, now what? Now that $39 trillion becomes $89 trillion? And what happens to our buying power, the guy who works every day?
Well, right. Well, I tell you what, at this rate, that $39 trillion is easily going to be $42 trillion. And this time next year, we have a $2 billion budget deficit annually that they're not doing anything about. And somewhere along the line, we're going to have to pay the piper on that, and that's going to be a problem. I know they're letting the dollar run a little bit here right now. I had an analyst on my show today that says that dollar index right now, which is at 101, 13-year highs. She thinks it can go to 110, maybe even 113. We'll see. But there's going to be some stuff out there that's going to start to affect how badly we've run our books in this country.
Well, the other thing that is growing that people aren't talking about is the way in which the supply chain of energy has changed from America to America in so many ways. So many countries have diverted, and they've started to buy our energy from us. And the other thing that Trump doesn't get credit for, which I think he should, is the fact that he has already committed and started nuclear growth. And Texas, they're building nuclear reactor plants. I don't know if you saw it, in 8 weeks. Did you see that story? 8 weeks. So you can tell that there's no union Chicago Democrats on the job that took 10 years for an exit ramp.
Just remember, Elon Musk, when he left California, said he was able to build his plant in Texas in faster time than it would have taken to get the permits to build in California, number one. Number two is I think it's Google that has gone into a partnership with 3 Mile Island, and they bought one of those old reactors, and they're firing that thing back up over the next couple of years.
So, yeah, and how about you're talking about Bill Gates bought 3 Mile Island, right?
Yeah.
Paid $1.5 trillion for it. Now, if he can somehow circumvent prison, but he has this long by being a sick, twisted bastard, that could be something that is really a game changer if we start to really take advantage of the ways in which we can lower our own costs by breaking the monopoly that so many of these corrupt companies have on energy costs. So you may be able to lower energy costs instead of just subsidizing fraud, like Pritzker celebrates Illinois, as they apparently have wind now that makes up 21% of the energy. Well, that explains the raises of the cost, doesn't it?
Oh, that's ridiculous. Wind and solar, I mean, forget about it. I don't know why anybody's talking about it. But we did see the senator from, I think it was Wyoming, Senator Lummis, the woman. She was speaking this morning saying that, these data centers that you don't like, nobody wants to have one in their backyard, but she's saying that they're going to be able to get them through Congress, some legislation through Congress that says that anything that they draw down as far as power does not hit the consumer in the area. They're going to be cordoned off. So their power is just their power, and the old rates are going to stick with the folks in the immediate area. I hope that's true, but that's another big concern of everybody about having a data center in their backyard.
Well, that's magic math, right? Well, how does that work and not drive up the cost of having a data center for the data center? How does that not drive down the stock value of which we're pretending is going to bolster the economy? So there's a lot of shenanigans. There is no free money, and you and I know this. And when they talk of free money, odds are they're not just wishing, they're lying. And I really do believe. Why is it that you can't have your own data? Scott the Cow Guy Shality, and your data would be worth something, kid. After all, you're a successful guy. You are on top of things. Your data is far more valuable than some crackhead on the South Side who has an iPhone that he never paid for. I think the data should be kept in everybody's own backyard, literally, in their own house, and through the technology, you avoid and circumvent all of this, and you have private ownership of it, and now the individual can monetize it. The business plan as it exists, I don't like. I've never liked it. You're stealing people's data. You pretend they sign it away because they agree to an agreement that they can't turn their phone on unless they do. I really feel like it's a lie built on top of a theft.
Yeah, it's a very uncomfortable situation. I agree with you. If you look at how the music industry has been absolutely turned on its head when it comes to Spotify and those streaming things, we've got a lot of lessons to be learned, that's for sure.
And we can get used to the lies we like, which is why we don't argue against the things that drag us down the most, the existing socialism that we haven't combated. And if we're not going to combat it, if you can't combat it with Donald Trump in office under right now, 2026, and all the growth and all the rejection, all the evidence that was put out about all the lies we've accepted, there is no Social Security, it's a fracking scam, there is no unemployment insurance, that's a scam. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are subsidized housing, whether you want to believe it or not, that's a socialized home lending institution. At the same time, the Senate passes this idea that we're going to keep Wall Street out from housing, but that means just more government in housing. Where are they going to get the fracking money?
Well, okay, but there's other knock-on effects about that, Shaun. I mean, I had a house in Arizona. I still have a house in Arizona. And I remember the 2008, 09, and 2010, and you're in real estate. Remember how things absolutely got slaughtered. There's some people that needed to sell, and you're going to tell me you're going to knock on the door and say, well, we have a bid from a bank, but you're not allowed to sell to them? I don't know how that's going to fly.
Right, because that's exactly correct. And when you talk about Wall Street and they can't be in housing, well, then why should they be able to buy mortgage-backed securities? And they do that. So it's a feel-good rule for the economic illiterate.
Yes. I don't know how that's going to – I mean, look, and to some degree, these farmers are getting – they're getting knocks on the door saying, hey, your land is only worth about $3 million. We'll give you $15 million for it. We want to put a data center there. Now, some of them are actually turning it down because they care about their neighbors. But how can you tell that farmer you can't sell your land for 5 times more than you thought you could? I mean, I don't know how that's going to work. I really don't know.
No, I don't know how it's going to work. I like so much of what's going on, and I'm so skeptical of the other things. And really, that's what it's always going to be, a mixed bag of sorts. But I think you have to take advantage of the power structure when you have it. And if we can't reprivatize or at least let some people out, this is something I thought for certain Trump would talk about. I believe that what he did with giving babies money in the market is the beginning of the end of Social Security. But now I think it's time, before the midterms, as you see more communists and Marxists winning in these mafia-controlled areas, now it's time for us to start talking before. Don't you want your money that you said you put into Social Security now and you take a buyout? I'm out. Let me out. Why are they so afraid to talk about reality when it comes to economics?
Because they won't get reelected. I mean, that's all about getting reelected. And, Scott Bessent was on the airwaves today, and basically he's kind of saying what you're saying. We could absolutely leverage our strength in places we have strength. Great idea.
Yeah. Just offer the buyout. Offer the buyout for that and for health care. I mean, after all, I don't know if you saw the Democrat doctor in Florida. He was supposed to give an appendectomy. He took out the guy's liver. Did you see that story? He's a doctor.
No.
The liver doesn't look anything like the appendix, does it? I remember my biology class. How can you look at a liver and say, take it out? These are the morons that we're paying. Between that and the Medicare fraud, let people go. I don't want any Medicare or Medicaid. Let me out. But instead, they have that fear factor, and they pretend you got to be in it. That's why everybody must tune in to Scott the Cow Guy Close.
Yeah, there we go.
What do you got cooking tomorrow?
Let me see. We have to talk about Micron. Blew it out of the water after the close today. We're going to talk about more government. Yeah, killed it. They were up about $88 in the after hours. I haven't checked it since. And I'm going to talk about some government overreach. We got a lot going on. We have another hour, and we've got Dr. Carol Swain on. She's fantastic. Everybody loves her. She's a big figure here in Nashville. She's got some good Bible behind her. At the same time, she understands the real good common people. So we usually talk really kind of sensitive. Maybe we'll talk to these socialists being elected in New York. She likes to do stuff like that. So it's a great show. We're having a lot of fun. You should tune in 12:30 to 1:30 Central.
Kurt calls me every time. He never misses a show. Never, ever misses. He sends me the clips, which I get to, take the Cliff Note version of the Cow Guy Close. But when you talk about Micron Technologies, it was 1,048 on the close. It's over 1,220 now. And what are they? Aren't they? Are you out of your mind? And what aren't they? Are they a pharmaceutical? What are they? A pharmaceutical data company?
No, they're chips. They're AI.
Really? Oh, that's our hope for the healthcare. AI, Tesla robot. It's not like a Democrat who's taking care of you in the old age. You see how they beat the hell out of the people? Isn't that the worst part? You can barely afford it. You get thrown in one of these Democrat ghetto areas, and you get beat up by some moron with a low IQ who can't read.
Yeah, Micron's a technology company, so you don't have to worry about them. And you're right. It's going to be, we could spend some of that money. I mean, they're going to make more. It's a fantastic time to be alive. I'm really excited.
It really is.
I mean, I'm being honest. I mean, it really is a great time.
Oh, you can look at what we have. We have the answer to every question we ever wanted in our hand, and nobody talks about it. And the truth of robots in our society are going to end all of these failed policies, all of this swindle. It's going to be fantastic. And my robot's going to have cleavage. Is yours?
Yes, yeah, exactly right, and maybe a little bit more. But I'm going to be the guy that I'm going to connect artificial intelligence to the budget of the city of Chicago, and it's going to tell me who's stealing all the money. I can't wait to do that.
Oh, I can't wait either. I can't wait. And by the way, that robot from Tesla is going to be called the Kamala Harris. So you should put your order in now for the one that does more than cleavage. Thank you very much, Scott the Cow Guy, RFD TV, the Cow Guy Close. Thanks for always making time, brother. I appreciate it.
All right, man. See you, brother.
Thank you. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
He's Shaun Thompson.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
And this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-921-5252. That's 800-921-5252. 800-921-5252.
Now that spring is here, it's time for some spring home maintenance.
That's cold!
Hot water issues? Call Center Guard Plumbing. Right now, get a new 40-gallon atmospheric vent water heater installed for just $1,295 standard installation, or a 50-gallon for $1,395 standard installation, with free haul away of your old tank. A proud sponsor of AM 560, you'll save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on tankless and atmospheric vent water heaters with Center Guard Plumbing. Plus, get 10% off any licensed plumbing contractor competitor's price. Center Guard Plumbing is Chicagoland's same-day water heater experts. Call before noon, and they can schedule your repair or install the same day on in-stock water heaters. You're only a text away from install today. Call 847-406-8883. Mention AM 560 to receive spring special pricing. That's 847-406-8883. Call or text 847-406-8883 or visit centerguardplumbing.com.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Picture warm Gulf breezes, turquoise waters, white sand beaches. Now, add evenings of conversation with Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, and Jennifer Horn. This November, sail from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Mexico on a 7-day journey built for those who love this country. Book your cabin today when you text the word cruise to 94878. Celebrate America's 250th anniversary the right way on the Gulf of America Cruise. Book your cabin now. Text the word cruise to 94878.
Rick Borick talks about the emotions of stock market investing.
At what point would you rethink your decision that you're invested in the stock market? And you'll notice that someone who answered that question 6 months ago saying, I'm not going to panic until it's down 30%, calls you up on the phone and says, it's down 8, what's going on? And I says, what happened to the 30% guy, right?
Unleash Your Wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
708-889-5600 is the number you need to call if you want the Goldilocks alarm badge on your property. And it can be any property you own, whether it's a home, whether it's a condo, whether it's a retail store or a warehouse. When criminals, would-be criminals, Democrat morons, see the Goldilocks badge, they know you have a security system that isn't too big, it isn't too small, it is just right. That every area of your property is monitored by a video. That every door you have is a smart door, which you can lock when you don't have to be there. That every window you have is monitored. You'll never have to ask, did I lock the door? Did I close the window? You could take an old home, an old condo, an old retail store, an old warehouse, and turn it into a smart property at GoldilocksInc.com. And when you call 708-889-5600 and you tell them you heard about it on my show, 3 months of monitoring for free. They throw it in when you mention the Shaun Thompson Show after calling 708-889-5600. And the criminal knows that is the best security system that I've ever dealt with in 30 years of security systems. Goldilocks is the best. It's the fastest. The monitor is great. And the alarm, forget about it. They'll think that there's been a prison break. It's extremely loud. And they know either you will get up or your neighbor to put two in their cheek at GoldilocksInc.com or call 708-889-5600. Now, when we get back, I'll take your calls and comments. 312-642-5600 after Mike Scott.
Good evening, Shaun. Expect a shower, maybe a thunderstorm tonight, and a low of 64. In our QC Kinetics newsroom, the body of a young teenager was recovered from Lake Michigan's choppy waters early this morning near Michigan City, Indiana. An early morning crash along 8094 in the south suburbs left one person dead. It happened near Torrance Avenue in Lansing around 5:30 a.m. State troopers say the victim was changing a tire when he was struck and killed by a semi. President Trump announcing today he would no longer sign a bill designed to lower the cost of housing until Congress passes an unrelated bill expanding federal control over how states run elections. California Democrat Representative Ted Lieu.
Did he wake up on the wrong side of the bed? Is he unable to stay awake today? Or is it side effects from a drug?
House Speaker Republican Mike Johnson expects the president to sign that housing bill in the next 10 days. And the news a service of Discover. When you hear a good idea, it's natural to do a double take. That's what you might do when you hear Discover will automatically double all the cash back you've earned on your credit card at the end of your first year. See terms at discover.com/credit card. Your next news update is at 7. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. Up next, a check of the roads with Jill Urchep.
Clear conditions going out on the Edens. The outbound Kennedy looks much better. 40 minutes out to O'Hare from the Jane Byrne interchange. Yes, that has gotten better. The Eisenhower going out. That is a 45-minute trip. Post office to 390. Stevenson, 40 minutes out to the Veterans Memorial Tollway from DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Outbound Rise improved nicely. 22 from the Jane Byrne interchange out to 95th Street. On DuSable Lakeshore Drive, unfortunately, that is tied up either way, but there are improvements. Same for the Tri-State. The Reagan is better. Southbound 355, that is starting to clear up as well. And the Jane Addams remains to be in decent shape. Still scattered delays eastbound 80. This report is a service of the AM 560 Advantage. Membership has its privileges, including early access to event tickets, exclusive contest opportunities, and special members-only content. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect mostly cloudy skies with a low of 63. Tomorrow, Thursday, will bring partly sunny conditions with a chance of a shower in the afternoon and a high of 81. Thursday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 60. As we head into Friday, anticipate a mix of clouds and sun with a high of 74. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Amazon Business. With smart business buying, innovative AI tools optimize your purchasing experience paired with delivery options built for business. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
I'm alpine skier Michaela Schifrin. I've won the most World Cup ski races in history. But what does success mean to me? Success means discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us, and it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. If you're looking for success, surround yourself with the people who will get you there. If you're an advisor or investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated. Member SIPC and NYSE.
Past performance is no indication of future results. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
Wolters Kluwer United States Incorporated seeks Business Systems Analysts 3 in Chicago, Illinois to perform system administration and configuration. Telecommuting permitted $117,957 to $187,900 per year. Medical, vision, and dental benefits apply at jobpostingtoday.com. Reference number 36985. Again, Wolters Kluwer United States Incorporated seeks Business Systems Analysts 3 in Chicago, Illinois. Apply at jobpostingtoday.com. Reference number 36985.
Concerned about your retirement accounts or bank savings? Tired of stock market turbulence? Or simply curious about diversifying with precious metals? Tune into The Gold Show on AM 560, The Answer. Learn how gold and silver can help protect your financial future. Discover insights, strategies, and opportunities designed to help you make smarter decisions and guide you to more confident investing. Don't miss The Gold Show this Saturday morning at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
Tired of posting to your business's social media, but only your employees notice it? Meanwhile, your competitors are winning over customers by racking up thousands of views. At Myers Media, we create social media content that gets engagement and drives sales. Here's how it works. If you're in Chicagoland, we sit down with you and come up with all the ideas. Then we handle the filming, editing, and posting. You don't lift a finger. Out of town? No problem. We build the scripts, coach you through filming it on your phone. Then we take care of the editing and posting. Myers Media also does bigger projects like website videos, event filming, and paid ads that make people pick up the phone and call you. You know what makes your business special, and we know how to turn that into content that gets noticed and gets you customers. Schedule a consultation with us today at myersmedia.net. Again, that's Myers, M-E-Y-E-R-S, media.net. At Myers Media, we create social media content that gets engagement and drives sales. myersmedia.net. Let's get you noticed.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Inherited a coin collection? Sell to global bidders for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
There are those who are unable to see what can be, but there are many more who are able to see what can be unburdened by what has been.
Brilliant! Thank God it was too big to rig. Someone on one of the chats said, so they didn't steal the election when Trump won? No, he was too big to rig. He beat that office whore by 4-1 votes. 4-1! You see, Smartmatic and Dominion had that software cooker, where 2-1 was just a push. Kicking her ass because people didn't want to be ruled by this imbecile.
That there are those who are unable to see what can be, but there are many more who are able to see what can be unburdened by what has been.
Where has socialism ever worked, Senator?
Is that another question, or is that for the next interview?
That's definitely for you. You said fish doesn't work everywhere. I just want to know one place where socialism has been beneficial.
Well, when you have me come back on, we can talk about all the races across the country.
Ready.
Let's talk about just the places it always failed.
Even before the start of this year, about 60% of Havana's garbage trucks were out of service for lack of spare parts. The state simply doesn't have enough money to fix them. But today, with the US oil blockade now into its 5th month, the trucks that are still working don't have fuel enough to pick up the rubbish. And that's led to a situation like this all over the island, not just in the cities, in towns as well. Huge mounds of rubbish, of trash, are growing, often just yards away from people's houses. And as you can see, and as my eyes can feel, residents have taken to burning it in a desperate bid to contain the growing problem.
Whenever anybody talks about socialism, communism, or Marxism, point them to the once beautiful island, now prison island, called Cuba. Verlon, Michigana.
Okay, I got to respond to your guest the first hour, and I got to respond to what you just said about Kamala. Now, in that first hour, when I was listening to you all talk about credit, money down, and all of that, haven't you all heard that Section 8 is paying for homes for the Section 8 people so they can become owners all across America in all of these different places that accept Section 8? That's number one. And then when it comes to Kamala being beaten, we just talked about it out here, and we talked about raw numbers. And I want everybody to remember something. If Kamala could have moved 82,000 votes in the Electoral College, 82,000 votes in Pennsylvania, 18,000 votes in Wisconsin, and 15,000 votes in Michigan, she would be president right now. That's how close it really was, and how bad it has gotten in this country that it came that close.
First of all, your state of Michigana has tremendous amount of Democrat thief neighborhoods that stole the 2020 election. So I'm not sure I'm willing to accept those numbers. And all you have to do is look at the county outcome of the election or any election. Look, just do yourself a favor. Ask your evil Google machine in your hand, which show me the county election results from 2020, 2024, go all the way back to 2000 and see how much of this country is actually dumb enough to be Democrat. It's infinitesimal. Infinitesimal. All the ghetto areas. And by the way, your point about Section 8 housing, do you know what those neighborhoods are called in the real estate business, Verlon?
No.
Ghettos. And you don't want to be anywhere near one. The last thing you ever want to hear from your neighbor is, I don't pay the rent. Thank you very much, Verlon. That's how you know it's time to pack up U-Haul. By the way, when you hear people who have made something out of themselves, have been tremendously successful, talk about the realities of what it's like to operate in a business under any Democrat, pay attention.
He's making it really clear. New York doesn't welcome success. Are these states trying to push away from their populations those who really do believe in the merits of capitalism, the merits of a free society, the importance of education? I mean, to me, it feels like Illinois has been very successful with this undertaking. If you've opposed J.B. Pritzker, you probably left by now. You've had enough. It's just not worth it every day. What did it feel like in Chicago with J.B. Pritzker as governor? It felt like being a salmon swimming upstream to die.
That's
like,
nice.
Why?
That's a nice image. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, isn't that a nice way to end today?
Yeah.
But it felt like pointlessly hopeless. Now, the great news is most of my friends from Chicago are now my friends in Miami.
Not to mention employees. See, he didn't just leave, sell his property. He took billions and billions and billions of private sector with him. That's the cost of corruption. But here's the good news in Illinois. You guys have this magic system that I didn't even know existed, and I didn't even know that anybody could get access to a governor, especially when they got just enough sugar in the tank to make you quiver.
So tell my viewers more about Search It, please.
Okay. Well, first of all, we passed something called CEJA a few years ago, the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act, which does, well, what you can imagine, which is enhances our solar and wind in the state. In fact, we went from 7.5% solar and wind to almost 21% now. That's almost tripling. That's just in the last 5 years. But recently we passed SERJA, which one of the big things we're doing is taking all that solar and wind and making sure that we've got battery power to hold the power so that when we get, heavy usage times, we can access the power in that grid, in that store.
So let me get this straight, Squirrel. Because you can't store energy, even though they pretend you can. All your wind, all your solar, the wind is blowing, the sun is shining, and if that energy isn't being used, what happens to it? It goes into a battery. And then you hope that you can draw that energy from the battery. It sounds perfectly reasonable, you fat slob. That's exactly as good as nuclear or natural gas or coal or oil.
So this is our pilot isotope production reactor we call Groves 1. And it's something we built from the ground up in about 229 days to reach substantial completion. One of the fastest built reactors since the Manhattan Project.
The last time America built a nuclear reactor at this speed, it was wartime, more than 80 years ago. Now, on the outskirts of Lockhart, Texas, in an area called Prototown, a startup is trying to do it again.
So what we're walking into right now is the reactor room. This is going to be the room where we achieve criticality.
Oklo is one of 11 companies selected for President Trump's nuclear reactor pilot program.
I'll take that plan over J.B. Pritzker and the wind and solar. This big fat ass. He's the one who inspired that scene in the movie Franks and Beans. Never saw a zipper. A lot of zipper accidents. Greg LaGrange.
Hey, how you doing, Shaun?
Wonderful.
I do like the idea of corporations coming together and working together. I read an article in this Wall Street Journal yesterday about Chevron working with a company called Julian in Texas. That's what you guys are talking about. And then Lexon something with Next Era Energy, and I think that's definitely the way to go. I mean, if you could, nuclear submarines, U.S. nuclear submarines have a pretty good, if not perfect, record of not having any accidents on their nuclear powered stuff.
And they last for 30 years. Never have to stop for gas. Yeah.
I think that's something you can look at, and you can also look at something like thorium reactors, where the half-life of the fuel that you're using is a little bit more stable and less of a problem overall to the rest of the planet. But I think that's definitely where the answer is. I mean, wind and solar is never going to be the primary generator of running your energy for a country, in a modern industrial country. It's not. And you can't get rid of petroleum because it's in everything else. Even if you were to get rid of petroleum as a fuel, it still is going to be needed for everything else. Correct. And it's going to take a long, long time to replace that, if ever.
Well, Greg, I'm still very optimistic that somebody will realize Nikola Tesla was exactly right, and energy is everywhere, and that what we have is corporatism that has decided to keep us away from things that are really relatively easy to get and for our own good. I mean, you could look at some of the stuff he put together and how the government destroyed it. That tells me he was right. Yeah.
What you got to do, and you probably saw it. There was a great series. I have a couple of the tapes. The Men Who Built America, the J.P. Morgan one, the kid, where it highlights the entire battle between Edison and Tesla.
Yep.
You know, Tesla worked for Edison, and it's incredible. That series, I'll tell you right now, you watch the series, and if you read the book of Giants about J.D. Rockefeller and the first tycoon about Cornelius Vanderbilt, and you watch a couple of those tapes and get the general idea of what they did, you don't even have to go to business school. Those guys told you how
they controlled the market. They sold the lie of finite energy rather than allowing people to understand exactly what energy is. Thank you very much, Greg. Of course, I watched it. Come on. Talking to me, Bob, Mount Prospect.
Shaun, if my mother was still alive, she would say, Kamala Harris talks like she's got a paper a-hole.
Oh, I've never heard that. What continent was your mother from?
Blue Island.
All right, fair enough. All right, it makes sense now.
When I was a little tyke.
Yeah,
when I was a little tyke.
Bob, every once in a while, someone will say something I never heard before, and you just did it, Bob. You just said something I never heard. Thank you very much, Bob.
I'm glad.
And
thank you. Bye.
You tell I love that. That's it. The continent of Blue Island squirrel. I think Tom's from there. That explains his accent and his understanding of economics. 312-642-5600.
He believes in freedom, capitalism, and individual liberty. And because of that, he's become an enemy of the state. He's Shaun Thompson, and this is The Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Tony Patrick, CEO of Total Wall and a client of Signature Bank. We produce high-performance materials used in exterior insulating finish systems and other stucco applications. During a recent business transaction, I learned quickly that having the right banking partner matters. Signature Bank stepped in, took time to understand my business needs, and kept things moving. If you need a banking partner you can rely on, look for a team with real experience and a commitment to your success. For me, that's Signature Bank.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature Bank at 773-467-5600 or visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Chicago businesses. Your phone, internet, and IT should work well 24/7. But when it doesn't, who are you calling? At Overseas Help Desk? If you want clear, reliable local experts, consider Access One. Access One has been powering Chicago businesses with secure, reliable IT solutions for over 30 years. From our headquarters right here in the West Loop, whether it's VoIP phones, dedicated internet, managed cybersecurity, cloud backups, or 24/7 support, Access One has you covered. Access One is Chicago-owned, Chicago-run, and serving thousands of companies from Naperville to the North Shore and everywhere in between. We're rated top 5% in customer satisfaction, a Better Business Bureau A+ rated business, and trusted by law firms, clinics, tech startups to manufacturers. Let's talk about making your IT work well. Call 800-654-1555 or visit AccessOneInc.com. That's AccessOneInc.com. Tech made personal, locally.
I'd like to tell you about a man named Phineas who as a child survived the Holocaust. Phineas survived because Christians hid him from the Nazis, risking everything to save his life. Today, Phineas is in his 80s. He can no longer stand on his own or even leave his home to receive medical care. And when sirens sound and missiles fall, he doesn't have the time or the strength to reach safety. But once again, Christians are helping to save his life. Through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, a mobile clinic brings doctors and medicine right to Phineas's doorstep, providing care that he otherwise would not receive, especially during a time of war. Phineas said, "Christians saved my life during the Holocaust, and now again, they are helping me." As Israel's Holocaust Remembrance Day approaches, remember these precious children of God by lifting them up in prayer, asking for his protection, his comfort, and his peace. Stand with Israel in prayer by visiting supportifcj.org. That's supportifcj.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
You know, it's really unbelievable to see how legislative immunity protects these scumbag frauds, and they are, especially when they're Democrats. I don't care what job title they hold. If they're a Democrat, they're as crooked as granddad.
Following breaking news this morning involving a joint NYPD and FBI investigation into corruption within the NYPD. Sources familiar with the investigation tell our Marcia Kramer there were 3 separate search warrants carried out this morning. One at the home of Tariq Shepard, who is the former deputy commissioner, and another at the home of current Manhattan South Bureau commanding officer James McCarthy. An NYPD spokesperson tells CBS News McCarthy's duties have been modified and he has been transferred and replaced.
Do they get to keep their pension like Denny Hastert kept his pension? Did Rod Blagojevich keep his pension? Does anybody know how many crooks and felons and convicts who were trusted politicians all went to prison and kept their pension? You think it's just fat-ass Ed Burke or Mike Madigan? Or how many of his relatives are on it? There is no virtue among government employees, but specifically Democrats. Sorry, boys, but every one of these election judges all work for the government.
Northern Minnesota election judge who let 11 unregistered voters cast ballots in the November 2024 general election will serve 30 days in jail. 30
days in jail to steal an election? They steal years of your life, trillions of tax dollars. 30 days? That's what you get? And who are these virtuous Democrat doctors that they hire?
A Florida doctor has been indicted in connection with the death of a 70-year-old man. Dr. Thomas Shaknovsky accidentally removed the victim's liver instead of his spleen.
What? They don't look nothing alike, you frickin' moron. You ever dissect a frog, stupid? There's your government health care. Don't worry, the surgery was free. Medicare picked it up. The guy's dead, but nobody gets a bill. And the doctor gets paid. Well, at least I wonder if he owns a boat called Butt Naked. We'll be back in 21 hours to drag these cockroaches out from under the rocks they hide.
It is that time of year again to save babies by providing ultrasounds with our friends at Preborn. You know how this goes. We've done it every single year at this time. All you have to do is pick up the phone and say, I want to provide a free ultrasound to a girl.